Okay, so it's about to be on Facebook.
Okay, cool.
Hold on. You should be up there now.
Okay, yeah, great. I see it. Fantastic. For all of you guys coming on, just stay tuned just for a moment. Let me get everything ready to rock and roll. We're going to have a pretty interesting conversation today. We have somebody, if you guys saw the Heaven Challenge that I put out, there was a guy he responded to, and he had some really interesting views on it. So we're going to look through kind of what he thought and talk about some of the points that he made. Hope everybody is ready. Hope everybody's doing well.
You know, it's sad. Like when I put your name, like
Hmm.
in YouTube search, it's always like Kevin Wesley exposed.
Yeah.
But none of them like are good. It's just
Yeah, man. They all seem to start off the same way. That they don't really talk about information. They'd rather they rather discuss what they feel my motives are. Either I'm
mm,
angry or trying to mislead the people, or trying to manipulate people. They don't really talk about the information. They just talk about me. They don't really know how to move past that.
yeah.
And I'm so like honestly looking forward to somebody to actually just talk about the information. You see, because I personally am not important, but you have people, and that's kind of they can't help it. You know.
Thanks, Peter.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, now I can look at the screen. Something. Welcome in,
Let me
Andre Brandon. Say what?
I'm gonna blow up the screen for you so you can
Please
see
do. Please
better.
do. Thank you very much, kind sir. If you don't mind, you are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Don't let anybody tell you different either. Nakane, Nick, Markel, what's going on? Frankie D, what's up, family? Thank you very much, Peter. Philip, what's going on, man? Class Keys from Cincinnati. Okay, I see you. uh, Miss Who That Nation. Okay, I think you might be a Saints fan, I'm guessing. Uh, I hear you. How's it going, Rev? I hear you, Bryce. It's going well, man. Tim, how you doing? Emotional and full of fear. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Shantavius, thank you very much. Thank you, Love Life. What's going on with you? Good to see you on here.
Read it.
Hello?
We gotta read it.
What's that?
He says, "My brother calls you ex Pastor Ice Cube."
I hear you, Dirty. Shallow, why people why? What's going on? Get them on. If I pronounce that right, I will try to speak some on that. Absolutely. Kevin Sincere, what's up? I'm another ex preacher. Wow, Kevin Collins, Kevin Wesley, and now Kevin Sincere. All of us walking away from the church. Told you, Josh, it's an epidemic.
The Kevin's
Kevin's,
waking up.
man. Thank you, King Lamontred. Black Queen, hello, how are you? Hi from the UK. I see you, Sharon. I appreciate that, Dirty. We love y'all too, man. Let's learn something tonight. Absolutely. Absolutely. I see you, New Orleans. Okay. Mr. Bursey, I see you.
Let me adjust something real quick.
Okay. Rod Henderson, just to ask. Terry, how you guys doing? Hope everybody is doing well today. Let's see here. I see you, Evanay Williams from California. I see you on Facebook. Let's see here. Timothy, I see you. How you doing? Jared, how you doing? Dimitri, how are you? See you from Cali. Angelica, hello. Hello, Dawn, how are you? Let's see here. Rhonda, how are you? Alan, what's up, man? Thank you very much, Alan. We're going to try to talk about it tonight. Jacob, I see you on, man. Welcome in. Grady, how you doing? Welcome in, guys. Kwame, I see you, brother. And Joseph, I see you. We're going to try to keep it moving, guys. Thank you very much, Anthony, for the donation. You know, we appreciate that. We need it. We like to use the funds to try to help out people and further what we're doing. So in advance, guys, if you do get something out of the show, please consider giving to what we're doing, support what we're doing. Join my Patreon. It's around $2 a month starting out. I'd love to have you guys on there because we use the funds to feed people and take care of the less fortunate. So just keep those things in mind as we continue. So again, today we're going to be talking about that Heaven Challenge. If you guys have saw that. Josh, would you like to show them the Heaven Challenge video first, or would you like to get right into the...
Probably we would be best just to show it.
Okay.
It is a little long, I guess. I don't know. I guess just from like a general chat response, have most people seen the Heaven Challenge video we posted about a week ago?
Right. If you have not seen the Heaven Challenge video, let us know. Thank you very much, Candy, and thank you very much, Just Ask.
I don't mind showing it again to people, but...
I see you in pain. Long time no see. Brian, I see you from Colorado. Welcome in. Thank you very much, Shaman. I'm honored. Let's see here. Thank you very much. I think it was Felicia for the screen change there.
My bad.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, it was Felicia.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Felicia. No, okay. So we got let's see. We got, I only see one person so far. So they did not see it yet.
I saw 2 people on Facebook saying they have not.
Hey, that's worth it. Let's show it then.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see you, Rose Ray. I can see you. You say you have not. Okay, I see a few of you guys saying you haven't saw it yet. Okay, great.
Okay, let me get it loaded up, man.
All right. While he's loading that, guys, this Heaven Challenge video is just simply about the biblical heaven and the things that we have learned from it and the information that is on it in the Bible that you can find about this heaven. So this is what the video is about, and Josh is gonna bring that up in a second. We're gonna get right into it. In the meantime, I'm gonna keep on speaking to you guys. Absolutely. Oh, here we go. That quick. Josh is the man.
I'm making it.
Corey, I'd love to come, man. We might add it to my tour. Well, speaking of tour, February the 9th and 10th, guys, do not miss it. Be the Evolution Tour. We're talking about a little bit of religious self-defense. As you can tell, I didn't take karate. Because they probably don't say stuff like in real life.
But you did box.
I did box, and boxers definitely don't say in real life.
No.
Okay, Candy said she shared it. I appreciate that. Eric said he saw it. Okay. Don't mind watching it again. Okay, cool. Miss Who That Nation asked what the donate button is. It should be in the link, if in the description. Isaiah has not saw it. Okay, guys, stay tuned. Joshua, man, I'd love to come to Michigan, man.
Okay. You ready?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Then let's see.
Heaven is said to be a place where you will spend eternity if you believe in, follow, and accept Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, and God. Heaven is cited as having things like streets of gold and gates made of pearl. The question is, though, is heaven physical or is it a spirit realm? The $100 Heaven Challenge is simply this. explain where it is located, and explain how we get there. Upload that video and hashtag it with Heaven Challenge. If you're able to successfully explain heaven, you'll receive $100 via PayPal. Your video will be put on my wall, and you'll also be invited to my podcast to explain heaven. So why the challenge? Being in Christianity or being subscribed to Christianity for many years, I realized something. Many of us accept beliefs for different reasons. Some of us accept beliefs due to a lack of knowledge, some of us fear, and some of us reward. The problem with this is this. If heaven is not a factual place, it has been used to manipulate people. So why is it important to know if heaven is a real factual place or not? It's simple. People by this idea are manipulated. They do live their life a certain way, believing that one day they will see this place. So that's what the conversation today is about. Is heaven a real place? And if it is it physical or is it spiritual? Where is heaven said to be using biblical literature? People and websites like gotquestions.org say that heaven is most certainly a real place. It just exists on another plane or a spirit realm. So let's deal with, is heaven spiritual using the Bible's literature? We know the Bible speaks of having mansions in heaven. We know that 2 Kings 2 and 11 and also Revelations 19 and 14 speaks of horses being in heaven. Jesus is said to come back on a white horse. Where did the horse come from? We have tabernacles in heaven, according to Hebrews 8 and 5. So heaven is said to have physical things such as streets paved with gold and gates made from pearl. But what is gold? Gold is a mineral created on earth. What is pearl? Pearl is a mineral made from a clam's mouth when it uses its defense mechanism to cover parasites when they climb into its mouth. So why would heaven have these physical things if it is indeed a spirit realm? So as you see, the information is pointing to heaven is not being a spiritual realm, but a physical realm. Otherwise, if it were spiritual, how could it have physical things in it? Unless it's holograms, of course. So as you can see, the information seems to point to heaven as being actually physical and not spiritual. Things like mansions, things like streets paved in gold, and gates made of pearl. These are all physical things. What we're going to do now is we're going to deal with the ascension of Jesus. The Bible says after rising from the tomb after 3 days of resting, because immortals don't die, and actually roaming the earth for 40 days, Jesus then ascended into heaven. Acts 1, 9 through 11 says, he was taken up before their very eyes, and a cloud hid him from their sight. They were looking intently up into the sky as he was going, when suddenly 2 men dressed in white stood beside them. Men of Galilee, they said, why do you stand here looking into the sky? The same Jesus who has been taken from you into heaven will come back in the same way you have seen him go into heaven. The question you should ask yourself is, if heaven is in a different realm, why would Jesus need to take flight to get there? He would not. If you use your imagination, Jesus could have simply faded away. Jesus could have went through a wormhole, a portal even. Jesus could have imploded and went inside of himself. If you use reality, Jesus could have simply collapsed and his spirit could have went on to heaven, just like we are believed to go to heaven after our body dies. Now, speaking of take flight, humans fly when we need to travel to another physical location. But if heaven was spiritual, there would be no need to go in any direction, fly, drive, swim, or anything. So we know the theory of heaven existing in a spiritual realm, like gotquestions.org claims, are completely false. Furthermore, Acts 1 and 11 says that 2 robed men appeared and asked, men of Galilee, they said, why are you standing here staring into heaven? Staring into heaven. So this implies that heaven is a physical place that can be seen with the human eye. As you can see, using the Bible's literature, heaven is supposed to be viewable from the naked eye. But here's the problem. If you gather that heaven is supposed to be viewable from the naked eye, today we obviously have airplanes, we have jets, helicopters, etc. that fly throughout the clouds and space. Not to mention that we have access to glasses, binoculars, telescopes, etc. that give us the capabilities to see far further than we could ever see with our human eyes. So we all know the Bible says that flesh and blood cannot get into heaven. However, there's this website called CARM, or Christian Apologetics and Research Ministry. They say that Of course, Jesus was able to make it into heaven because his blood was essentially drained from his body during the crucifixion, that he was only flesh and bones. So having no blood, Jesus was able to make it into heaven. Now, the problem with that is this. Enoch was said to be translated directly into heaven without dying. Also, Genesis cites Elisha as a storm or a whirlwind, picking him up and carrying him directly into heaven. Was their blood drained? The Bible does not say that. So there's a clear problem with this literature, or it's a clear problem with what Carm says about Jesus being able to make it into heaven for those specific reasons that they listed. Also, as we know, after Noah's Ark, the survivors of the flood decided to build a Tower of Babel. The point was to build it to reach heaven. The Bible says that God notices this and says that these people, if they speak one language and are united, there is nothing that they cannot achieve. Nothing. So for many who say that they would have never built a tower to reach heaven, that is not the words of the biblical God. According to the biblical God, them building a tower to heaven was not impossible because they spoke the same language. Now they don't now, so it'd be very fair for you to say that they can't build the tower now because we know God screwed that up according to the literature. But if you go back before there were many languages, based on the Bible's information, these people would have been able to do anything for that matter, as this is what the biblical God said. This challenge is for anyone that believes they can prove where heaven is, but it's especially for ministers and teachers and preachers and all these people who teach and push this Bible as the inerrant word of God. I ask you to consider this. If heaven, God's kingdom, is not a real place, you have to consider, is hell a real place? Now, when you go back to earlier thought that predates the Bible, they looked at heaven and hell, if you will, as a state of the mind. And if this is true, why then do we mold our lives in accordance with this literature to make it to heaven? And that is the Heaven Challenge. Make sure that you upload your videos and hashtag them with Heaven Challenge, and you can tag them or link them into my comment box. Thank you all for watching, and I will be in Irving, Texas on February the 9th and 10th at the Avocado Lounge to kick off my tour, Be the Evolution. What I'm going to be addressing is a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. How do we move forward from religion? How do I teach this to my children? How do I come out to my family that I no longer believe in religion? How do I help to free my family members and friends from religion? I'm going to be teaching what I like to call religious self-defense. Basically, I'm going to show you how to handle yourself or how to respond when a Christian insults you or deems you to hell simply because you don't share beliefs with them. Also, there will be Q&A. I wouldn't do it without it. I understand that many of you have questions that they would like to ask me personally. I'll be ready to answer those questions throughout my show. Make sure you do not miss it. They say everything's big in Texas, so let's do it big. Well, there's the tour dates for the person that was asking on Facebook. All right, so there you have it, guys. That right there was the Heaven Challenge. So we had a few people respond, and what we're going to do tonight is we're going to listen to another person's points. First, Josh, I don't know if it's too much to ask, and I definitely didn't tell you, but could we show a little bit of Douglas's first? Just some of it.
Yeah.
Go. Okay. Great. Fantastic.
I just clearing my nose.
Oh, I had no idea.
I wasn't clearing my nose.
I mean, come on. I was going to play like I believed you.
I wasn't clearing my nose at all.
Thank you so much, Voice of Reason and One Love Life, for your donations. Thank you guys kindly. You guys don't understand how much you guys help. Thanks to you guys, I was actually able to go out this weekend and feed the homeless. So I took my children out. We went out. We gave fruit and chips and things of that nature to the homeless. If you guys saw, I did a video about it. They were really hard to find this weekend, simply because they were having something. The epicenter, everything was shut down. Literally, whenever you have big events where the town is crowded like that, it's really hard to find people out there because the police run them off. You see what I'm saying? They know they'll get arrested, highly likely arrested that night and things like that. So it's really difficult to find them. But we managed to get rid of all the products we took out there. But again, if it wasn't for you guys donating like you do, I wouldn't be able to even get out there and do what I was able to do yesterday. Even though it wasn't a whole lot, I feel like we all can do a little bit. You know. So thank you guys. As a matter of fact, while Josh is getting that, while we're on that subject, let me tell you a little bit about my night that night. Okay. So guys, I'm walking down the street, and I'm with my children, and all of a sudden I'm seeing like I can hear them. Hebrew Israelites. They all dressed alike, got their black and stuff on, you know, looking, you know, debonair, right? They're out there with their megaphones yelling and screaming. And they're talking about how, they're talking about slavery. They're talking about the curse that is on the black man, right? And how God is going to repay the white man for what the white man did. Now, you guys, we have all heard this, right? We have all heard this. But this is what they're teaching, or from a megaphone, whatever, out loud on the streets of Charlotte. And nobody really is standing there listening, so I didn't make a big deal of it. But nobody listened to them, but everybody was kind of walking. But you could see the white people walking by looking uncomfortable with it, like God is going to judge me, you know. I was telling Josh about it. I was real close to actually walking up to the guys and actually having a dialogue with them. But if, you know, I'd have my children with me, and you just never know how people will react about stuff that they really truly believe in. They get really passionate and emotional about it because they subscribe their identity to it, of course. So I didn't really want to push anybody. But, you know, my question would have been, though, because he was out there preaching about how, you know, God is going to come back and repay these white devils for what they did to our ancestors during slavery. My question would have been to him, this, just simply this: you mean to tell me that God is going to allow the people that enslaved our ancestors to rape them, hang them, use them as alligator bait, sell their skin as clothing, okay? Do all these things only to punish the descendants of those people who didn't have anything to do with it? It just doesn't make sense. So God would allow these people to hang you, rape you, enslave you for hundreds of years, and then let these people die in their old age just to come back and punish their grandchildren who literally had nothing to do with that event at all. It's silly to think that, but they stand out there with confidence and preach that. That's a cold-blooded God, if you ask me. You're going to allow me to be enslaved so you can punish the grandkids of the people who enslaved me. They never hit my ancestors on their back or hung my ancestors or anything for that nature. Why would a God come back and punish them for something they didn't do? It's silly thought. I feel like we haven't thought this stuff through. You know, it's just the intellect of an individual that will come back and punish somebody's children's children for something that the grandparents did is just silly to me. We got to wake up, guys. We got to wake up. But nevertheless, they were out there yelling this stuff and shouting this stuff. But that's part of my night. That was actually part of my night. Thank you, DJ. I appreciate that. So
my bad.
So what, brother?
I think I removed the comments before you got a chance to read.
Oh, no, you're fine, man. I assume you were prepared to put that other video up.
I am.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
it is prepared.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I thought you took it out. I wasn't reading anymore.
Okay. You want to play it now?
Yes, sir. Just play a little bit of it. You know, this guys is what I'm. Well, let me just let you watch it first. That way you can watch it with a clear lens, and I want to see if you guys can tell me what you see.
As soon as it plays.
No problem.
Let me refresh it.
You're very welcome, Christine, and I appreciate that.
Speaking of the devil, though, man, look who just sent me this video, man. Ex-pastor himself, Kevin Wesley. Now, he go say, oh, if the
whoa, pause it.
Heaven is real.
Pause it. Did he say I sent him the video myself? I swear he just said I sent him that video.
Because, I mean, I guess if he subscribed to you, then he gets it. So he might be blaming you for him being subscribed.
All right. Okay, look, continue on. That's neither here nor there, so that's fine.
See, the devil.
But go back. Hang on. Let's hear it again. Let me make sure. I won't harp on it, but I just want to hear it.
Oh, man. If the Bible is real. I mean, speaking of the devil, though, man, look who just sent me this this video, man. Ex-pastor himself, Kevin Wesley. Now he go say, "Oh, if the Bible is real, if heaven is real, and this and that." See,
Okay, he did say.
the devil
Yeah.
is trying to catch
Yes,
down
LeSean, that's the Kevin Collins guy.
those. Understand? See, I know that the Bible is real. I know heaven is real and hell is real. And see, the thing here is he gonna say that he gonna use the planes and all that, to prove his point. I'm saying to myself, prove your point, man. Shoot, I mean, what is you proving, man? See, man, I had to watch it, understand? And see, remember the Bible talks about when Satan had first put doubt in Eve's mind. Yeah, God said in Genesis 3, understand? 5, right? See, look, man. Now all that he's saying, well, if Jesus was this, Jesus was that, and he was going to Cam and all that. See, the problem is, man, he haven't went to the source, the Word of God himself. Understand? By asking for the sermon. Now you got this fool still trying to convince that heaven and hell ain't real and Jesus ain't real and this and that. See, man, Satan is not fooling me. He's not fooling those, man, that love is superior, understand? So it's like, man, check that fool out, man. I may have a link to it.
All right, guys. So I want to show you something here, and this is what I mean by an emotional response. He's doing pretty good this time compared to the last time that he did a video to me. But my question about with this heaven challenge wasn't being rude, disrespectful, anything like that. I was simply asking them who subscribe to the belief to explain to me exactly where heaven is using the Bible's literature. But I want you to notice how before he prefaced, I hate to offer up any spoilers. He doesn't explain at all to any of the question or to the video that I put out. But what he is doing is using his fear and pushing that on other people if they're going to take a listen, that is. But he's saying that I'm trying to bring in doubt. So when he starts talking about, I'm using the analogy or the example of airplanes and things of that nature, he goes, Satan knows how to put doubt in you. That's not what we're talking about. We're simply asking a question as to where this place is that he subscribes to believing in. It's a simple question. We're not talking about me introducing doubt to you. This is a simple question. Josh and I were talking the other day, and we were talking about how, our family members and friends get upset when you ask them a personal question about their God and their belief, and they get angry. And I told Josh, I said it'd be simple to just respond back to them simply, guys. When this happens, to just simply say, do you not realize that you're angry because you don't know the answer? If you just think for a second, the only reason you are upset with me is because you do not know the answer to my question. It's not because I'm being blasphemous. It's not because I'm being rude. You are only upset because you don't know the answer. In fact, if you ask simple questions first that they know the answer to, you will find that they have no problem at all answering your questions. However, when you start to get into the intricate questions, the questions that require real trivial thought that they have no scripture to run to, that's when they'll get upset and start saying it's blasphemous. You see what I'm saying? So we can talk about all day if the Old Testament is dead, or if the New Testament is new, or if it's a new covenant and stuff like that. Christians don't mind discussing those topics, but when you start discussing how is it even real to begin with, that's a topic that they can't handle. You see, when you start discussing who wrote the Bible, where is Moses, these are topics they can't handle. They're not prepared for this stuff. But if you can stay in the book and ask them questions where they can go to a scripture, they'll be happy all day. It's simply they don't have the answer and they feel fear from it. So, he doesn't want to deal with this because he doesn't want to challenge his hope. But it's just a simple question. If it's there, it'll be there. If you've already subscribed to the belief then how then can't you explain it? Josh and I both agree that, most Christians should already know the answer to this question. Obviously, I couldn't give you the answer to this question. I believed and supported this belief without research, as all of us did, to be frank. So the sheer fact that no one can explain heaven is not shocking. We already knew this. Josh and I were sure that you can't explain where heaven is because we know you can't prove it exists. We're sure of this. But the simple fact is, a lot of people subscribe to the belief in this long before they ever had proof. So now it's hard to confront. You feel me? It's just really hard to confront for a lot of people. But moving on, let me hit play on this a little bit more, then we'll go to the actual one that we're going to discuss.
To that situation, man. Because, man, he's a fool. You know what I'm saying? He has no slightest idea what he's talking about. He's speaking all over the circles and not get to the situation that he gonna mention about maybe he done collapse or this and that. All this foolishness, man.
I try my best to watch it when I laugh because I
listen to it though, man.
I'm not trying to be rude to the guy.
Well, you know what though, man? He's not my brother. Understand? I don't hate him. He's not my brother. Because
that's not relevant.
Though, man, I'm going to defend the word of God. See, I believe the word of God. See, there's a heaven and there's a hell. Understand? All
right, let me ask you guys quickly before we continue. Do you guys want to see more of this? I mean, there is no answer in it, but do you guys want to see more? Because I do feel like there is something to be learned from it. As you can see, his behavior and the fact that he actually doesn't have an answer, but he can speak to how wrong I am, but not offer anything to correct me. You see what I'm saying? And his best response to me is to insult me, okay, or make me out to be, disqualified, as he calls me a fool. My mind is not intact. I am a fool. These type of things. So let me just pause for a second and see what you guys are saying. Do you guys want to see, more of this video? I'm gonna also look on Facebook, see what you guys have to say.
Hold on a second.
Sure. Okay, Angelito said no. I don't blame you guys either way. You can. I think I'm getting a resounding no. Yeah, nobody wants to see the rest of this video. Yeah, it looks like we cannot. Yeah, nobody wants to see the rest of this video. It looks like we're in unison here. I didn't get one yeah. Well, Douglas, sorry, brother, but they'll have to come to you to your video and see that. But I would just say try to hold back the insults if you want somebody to sit through your whole video. Nobody's gonna really listen to you like that. I don't really care because I don't subscribe to anything that you're gonna call me anyway. But if you're gonna talk about information, just keep it about the information, man. It just drives me crazy. People always try to discuss the intent of the person who gave the information when none of that's relevant. If you can disprove the information, the person's intent will mean squat. It will mean absolutely squat. You can sincerely be wrong. You can mean the best for everyone and still be wrong. So your sincerity or your intent means nothing. The only thing that matters is the information that you are presenting. Focus on the information and you will catch the liar. I promise you. I promise you. You want to catch a liar, listen at the information they give you. It's nothing about what they look like or anything. They come in all forms, right? Discuss the information, you'll be fine. I tell you, man, a lot of times, man, we take people as sincere because they actually believe what they're saying. When you don't understand that a lot of what you're taking as sincerity is simply just confidence. And you don't and understand this. If I say something in a very normal voice, okay, a very normal voice, if you ask a question and I answer that question in a very normal voice, we're in a room full of people. They ask another individual the same question and he answers that question, but he seems more confident, more boisterous. He projects his answer more vocally than I did. More people will believe and be confident in that person's answer simply because he had more energy behind it. This is a proven fact. People believe people who are confident. The problem with religion is it gives you a false confidence. You have people standing on an altar or on a stage that they call an altar, of course, telling people what God told them to say, and they really believe it. A lot of them are not up there lying. They are listening to their thoughts and giving God credit for their thoughts. Okay? And they can stand up there and say, God just dropped something in my spirit. You just had a thought, you see. And this stuff happens with everyone. But if you are in religion, you're going to attribute it to something and sincerely believe it. It does not mean that person's telling the truth. The information is what should be looked at, guys. That's what I mean. If you just think about the scenario, if you've never heard this before, but I am going to get you out of this water and put you safely in this tree before you drown, says the monkey to the fish. Think about that for a moment. I'm going to take you out of this water and put you safely in this tree so you don't drown, says the monkey to the fish. The monkey's intent was good, but he is going to suffocate that fish if he takes it out of water, right? But to a monkey, water is not a safe place to be. The tree is a safe place to be. So you can't go around giving what works for you to everybody as if it's truth. You simply can't. You simply can't. All that matters is the fact. The fact remains is that a fish is not going to breathe outside of water and be safe in that tree. It does not matter what the monkey's intent is. So it does not matter if the fish went solely off the monkey's intent. It might be okay with being put in a tree, and then they'll find out really soon. Because regardless of that monkey's intent, it's not going to turn out right. So please keep that in mind, guys. Your intent means nothing at all. Good or bad, it means nothing. All that matters is the information you're presenting. You're right, Candy. He would know not to call anyone a fool because the Bible says if you call anybody a fool, you are in danger of hell. Absolutely. And that's the thing about it. The people who subscribe to this information, they don't even read the information or even, abide by it, live by it. Josh and I were talking right before the show started about people and their God. I was telling him about a show where this guy's a dentist and he looks inside of this guy's mouth and he's telling a hitman to kill this guy, but he's telling the hitman it's not going to be easy. And he asked the dentist, how do you know it's not going to be easy? He said, this guy takes good care of himself. He just had a recent bridge, all these newer things that was in this guy's mouth. And the hitman said, you can tell that much about a man by looking at his teeth. And he said, you can tell a lot about an individual by looking at their teeth on how well they take care of themselves. And this guy is going to be a problem, trust me. Now, obviously, it's dialogue in a movie, and I don't know that to be true. However, I would consider it to be a good, strong point. If a person takes care of their teeth, it probably does say a lot about them, But to say that dentist was saying, I can tell a lot about a person by their teeth. I was telling Josh, you can tell a lot about a person by how they speak about their God, because your God is a figment of your imagination, right? So when a person starts telling you you're going to burn in hell, this is showing you their depth. It's showing you how they are. You see, if they say, I love you, but I'm praying for you, it tells you at heart they're a decent person. They don't mean harm in most cases by saying that, unless they say it, we know when they're saying it and meaning it in a sarcastic way, but that's not where I was going with it, Grady.
I felt emotional. Had to respond to old boy. Telling him he let Nas down.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And again, you have people who don't even want to confront the topic. There's a brother who said that he was going to stick with the 90% of those who believe in heaven, and in that 90%, he mentioned Christians, he mentioned Israelites, he mentioned Egyptians. So he mentioned all these different cultures of people who he believes subscribe to a belief in an afterlife. Okay, that is not what my video is about. My video is about heaven, the biblical heaven. Where is it and how do you get there? But he's like, I'm going to go with the other 90%. Dude, there is no 90%. You're talking about going with 90% of people who subscribe to an afterlife. Your idea of heaven is not there. So if you sit down with them, you're going to have disagreements. One of y'all supposed to get a bunch of virgins, and one of you supposed to walk on streets of gold. The two are not synonymous. You're going to two totally different heavens. One of you is going to have your wildest dream fulfilled, while the other one of you going to have a nice feeling on the bottom of your feet. I don't know what gold feels like on the bottom of your feet, but enjoy. It's wild, man. Rufus Wilson, they said, Kevin, you was a pastor, Kevin, Did the Holy Spirit speak to you? That's an interesting question, sir. At the time, I believed the Holy Spirit spoke to me. However, what I was referring to as the Holy Spirit was my thoughts. You see, I left that subscription to that belief, and the same thoughts that dropped in my mind then dropped to me now the same way. Nothing's changed. I didn't get dumber. I didn't lose insight, anything like that. Walking away from religion, I'm still the same exact person. In fact, I actually have more insight and things like that. So, but yeah, I did believe that the Holy Spirit spoke to me, sir. If that's just to answer your question. But just to
Should we show the comment?
Say what?
Should we show the comment?
Oh man, yeah, absolutely, that's fine. Okay. Absolutely.
I'm really disappointed.
I actually am too. I expected more. If I can say that much. I don't like to, guys. I don't like to expect much from anyone. I hate when someone tells me they expect more from me. I think that's their own hang up. What you expect from me is your own problem. You can't really fault me for not living up to your expectations. But, and you know, with all intents and purposes, this is a letdown because this brother is pretty astute when it comes to literature pertaining to religion. He's pretty astute. So this was about literature, and I would have thought that he would have taken the opportunity to address it. You know.
Or so we thought. He was pretty astute.
I mean, we can say that he is, but we can. I mean, but he definitely avoided this topic as if he just wasn't. Absolutely.
I'm not giving him. Nope. I have respect for him, bro. Never again. Never again. I'm finding the video. Let me put this to the side.
Thank you very much, Brian. And we're going to talk a little bit about heaven and the original ideas of heaven as well, guys. And how do you get there, you know? Look at there. The machine said if you go to Valhalla, you fight wars and drink beers forever. Absolutely. That's the concept of Valhalla. Absolutely it is. So you know, now the biblical version of heaven is nothing like that. You know, so please tell me where we're going to go, because somebody going to be mad if they wake up to streets of gold and they expect you to be a warrior for eternity.
Disappointing ass.
Dang right. So you want me to just live in this big old house and worship you forever? Like, that don't even make sense to me. Why would a God demand that? It's just crazy, guys. Mr. Quark says making judgments about someone's based on their dental work is really bad way to judge someone. There are many reasons why someone might have a messed up grill. Would their messed up teeth tell us about them? What if it's chipped up? Would it tell us that something happened and we're in an accident? If they are crooked and they can't get them fixed, wouldn't it tell us that they can't afford to get them fixed? It would tell us a lot about them. Now, granted, this is not a theory that is proven or anything like that, Mr. Quark. This is from a movie. I was just telling you what the doctor said, and I was making an example. Now, I wouldn't say it's fair to judge someone by their teeth either. But in terms of information, not judging their character, but in terms of information, you can get information from people's dental. That's why they check for dental whenever they find a body dead, right? You can tell a lot about somebody's teeth. What they ate, what their diet was like. You can, man. Let's be honest.
You can tell what their diet was like from their teeth?
Yeah, absolutely. Things they ate on, like different damages on their teeth, what kind of things they ate, sugar, if
rocks.
Decay. Yeah. You can tell, man. Yeah. I mean, again, you could tell somebody's identity by their teeth.
Yeah, the dental records. I just didn't know, like, their diet consumption, like what passed through their teeth.
Yeah, I would assume so, especially if you catch them right after they eat.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not going to show my response because I got emotional, but I'm sticking with it.
All right, man.
He let me down. I don't appreciate it. I don't like being let down, man. Don't ever let me down.
I know that's right. I don't like being let down either, man.
I think people don't be
Let's
able to
see,
see
Black Light. Yeah, we could talk about Eskimos going to hell, even though they don't know about hell. That'd be pretty interesting. There was a joke I saw like years ago, and there was a preacher or a missionary talking to an Eskimo, and the Eskimos responding back like this. The Eskimos saying, "So you mean to tell me that if you had not told me about hell, I wouldn't I wouldn't have no dangers of going?" And the missionary was like,
Yeah.
That's right. He said, "Then why'd you tell me?"
His face too. Like,
Yeah, the dude was looking at him like, why'd you tell?
His face was so devastating.
Like, you a complete jerk, dude. Get up out of here, man. Go back where you can. Please leave. I don't want you here no more, man.
So I can lead you to the Lord, man. I was doing fine without you. Now,
The Eskimo like, bro, I thought I knew what cold was, dude. You cold, bro. I live in Alaska. You the coldest person I ever met in my life. You traveled across the world to tell me about hell. I appreciate it, bro.
did you know there's eternal suffering after you die? What the heck? Why are you telling me this? Well, all you have to do is accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Exactly.
I'm like, all right, where's the proof? Oh, no, there is no proof. You just believe. If you don't, you burn. What?
Look here, Candy said something pretty neat. She said reincarnation is believed, and some people say they have returned from another life and are believed to be true through some research. So what does that say about God if reincarnation is true? This biblical God it says a lot. It says it don't exist. Thank you, Maddie. I can't wait to see you guys there. Maddie says you can't wait to attend my conference in New York City. I can't wait until that day. I'm excited about all of the tour dates, actually. Can't wait to meet some of you guys in person.
All right, let me go ahead and get this comment here.
Sure.
Disappointing. So this was his response to the video. And y'all, a lot of you guys in our group or chat, like y'all know who this is. They share his videos to our group often. And I thought he would make a video, but he didn't.
Let's make it larger and I'll read it to him.
Oh, okay.
So you guys can kind of see, I guess, how I'm reading it. He says, Egypt, Ethiopia, West Africa, Hopi, Maya, Inca, India. It's hard to find a culture in the world that doesn't believe in the afterlife. Now, my video is where's the biblical heaven? But nevertheless.
Exclamation point.
Yeah, I know, right? It's funny how you people got so smart the last 100 years. I'm not even 100 years old, but to deny cultures of a world over the amount deny cultures in the world over the amount of people. Okay, maybe over the
deny
amount of people
cultures
on
the
this
world
planet.
over.
Okay, world over, period, probably.
Yes.
The amount of people on this planet that has had near-death experiences from so many cultures all across the world. I will go with my elders. I'm going to make a decision to go with my elders, prophets, Egyptians and Babylonians. Same sentence? Persians, Israelites, and the other 90% of the human race, and leave Kevin Wesley to his own personal intellect. Because I'm the only person who think this stuff, but it's 90%. I'm making for 10% of the rest of the world, guys. Just so you know, I'm a big deal. I'm a big deal, guys. I'm 10% of the world.
I missed what that one chick said. Convenience, just like you and your convenience.
I love how these guys respond. So basically, I'm going to go with the belief of 90% of the world. The belief of 90% of the world. That's
contradictory.
And again, within that 90%, you have different beliefs, several in fact, with different ideas of an afterlife. How can you go with that 90%? That's just silly to me. That's like saying I'm going with the Crips, the Bloods, the Hoover Groove, and everything. We gonna all be together. No, you're not. You're gonna kill each other. That's not what's gonna happen. It's like all gangs ain't gonna get together and be like, we're gangs. That's something in common. Let's get along. No, that's not gonna happen. No.
So disappointing.
Yeah. All right. So what we can do, man, is if we can let's move into the actual response we want to deal with. And again, we won't. We probably won't be able to get through it all. He spends a lot of time going into how he perceives me in the beginning. Again, which is why what I tell you, I don't particularly enjoy hearing people discuss what they feel like my intent is, because I feel like it's not relevant to the point. I just don't feel like it's relevant to the point. Like my brother, before we took his video off, he said I wasn't his brother. That's completely irrelevant. You don't even have to say that. Just deal with the facts, man. I don't know if I want to be your brother. I don't know. Like, I didn't assume we were. You know, I don't know you personally, so. But, you know.
All right, let me get that loaded up.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Miss Kirby. And welcome in.
That's real slick.
It's okay. She donated. It's okay.
That promo code in real slick.
That's cool. That's cool.
I don't care.
LaShawn, you're right. And well, again, heaven and hell is a myth, and reincarnation is proven. Let's talk about reincarnation, the idea of reincarnation. Christians believe in reincarnation too, for that matter. They just don't know they do. So Brandon said, Hoover Groover? Exactly. A lot of people don't know about Hoover, man. My brother was telling me the other day he just heard about Hoover. Won a really big game out of California, like huge game. But people act like they don't. A lot of people don't know about it. But anyway, I was talking about reincarnation, and to reincarnate means to live again. So a lot of Christians, a lot of Muslims, and all these people who subscribe to the belief in the afterlife, they say they don't believe in reincarnation. But how do you get to heaven if you don't reincarnate? Your body is buried right here on Earth, or disintegrated, or what do you call it when you get turned into ash? Cremated, yeah, cremated. So the many ways that we can put away your body whenever you pass. We know that body is not what's going to whatever heaven that you believe you're going to, or whatever place you believe you're going to. So how else would you get there except for if you reincarnate, to incarnate again? Okay, that's all it means. But Christians don't use the term reincarnate, so that word is scary to them, you know.
Out of all the things, that word is scary.
Absolutely.
Not the Bible, not God. Right. Interesting. You know what's funny to me that I thought about the other day? So many Christians believe in karma. Why do so many Christians believe in karma?
You're right, man. Like I told you the other day, it's atheists walking around with rabbit's foot. How you do that?
Oh, man. That's so weird.
You can't have a rabbit's foot. You're an atheist. Come on. Again, guys, that's the power of the mind. How can you be convinced to walk around with a foot of an animal in your pocket? How could you be convinced to do that? Except you believe that it brings good luck. You don't understand the power of manipulation. If you just consider that thought right there. People carry around the foot of another animal because they believe it brings them good luck. Under no other circumstances would you put the foot of another animal in your pocket, around your neck, or on your keychain. You wouldn't do it. But if somebody can trick your mind, you'll do it. That's the crazy thing about how powerful the mind is. What was you saying, Josh?
I haven't ever met an atheist that went with that. Had anything like that.
I haven't.
No.
I was actually speaking randomly, man. That was kind of like an atheist having a rabbit's foot. A Christian who believes in karma.
Okay. I didn't hear that from my brother.
Yeah.
Readjusting a few things so it looks clean.
Like, I don't believe in any God, but I believe in luck. What? Who does that come from?
That's bad luck right there. Yeah.
Marcus said, I wish I could see the faces if a Christian died and they found out it was a lie. Man, you can imagine the utter distraught to see anybody other than who they're expecting to see. They're expecting to see some man with thorns on his head so they can throw him a crown and see holes in his feet and in his hands. And they ain't gonna see that guy. And they're gonna be completely distraught, man. Well, assuming that they'll see anything. And that's so funny to me, man, is that so many people are literally afraid of that, And it's crazy because it's like, if you think about it, man, when you go to sleep, unless you're sick, and it's very rare that we have what we call a bad night. When you're really sick, you can wake up an hour later and you feel like the whole night should have passed by, and it's just now 2 a.m. or something. But on a typical night, when you go to sleep, the night generally passes by. It doesn't feel like you slept for 7 or 8 hours. You don't feel the time of laying there being under for 7 or 8 hours, right? It's just morning. It just kind of goes, right? All the same, man. It's like people with this idea of dying, they think that they're going to be laying there with this experience of total blackness. What do you think when I die? It's just going to be nothing? Is it going to be nothing? To say it's going to be nothing says that it's saying that you're going to experience nothing. Otherwise, you wouldn't know it was nothing.
Because like when people say it just goes black, like no,
right? It just goes black. What is that? Right? Because you can't experience nothing, right? You have to be able to experience it for it to be something. So my question is, if you can consider how scary it would be to go to sleep and never wake up, that must seem pretty scary to most people, to never wake up once you go to sleep. But now consider how scary it was to wake up before you ever woke up. That's being born. You see what I'm saying? You didn't think anything about the time that you weren't born. There was no fear or remembrance of being left in total darkness. Not even for the 9 months you was in your mother's womb. You see what I'm saying? No remembrance of that. You're totally fine. You'll be fine. All this stuff is just an unnecessary fear that we carry around.
I'm about to just say the same thing that happens to an ant when it dies. That's what I'm about to say. That's what I'm about to start
Absolutely.
saying.
Yeah, same thing happens to an ant when it dies. Right.
It's like, is the ant going to be judged?
Right.
No.
Because we have this superior type mentality. Like, ant, what's that mean? So you mean to tell me that's the only thing that happens to me? Nothing more special happens to me than an ant? Why should it? Who said that who said that you're more valuable than an ant? Nobody. See, that's the thing about the type of thought, is having this superior mentality attached to it,
Because I have an iPhone and I brew coffee.
Right, absolutely.
And I drive a car. I'm better than an ant. There must be something. I mean, sure, nothing happens to an ant when it dies, but me, I'm Michael Blackson.
Right. Unreal, man.
I gotta do it. I'm Michael Blackson.
Thank you very much, Tim. Let's see, Sam. Tim said, "Do animals pray?" I hear you, brother. Absolutely not. Only if the food prays before God kill it and God don't listen.
No, that cat about to pounce on what you were dangling.
You can see it. You can see it now. A lion chasing a zebra. The lion praying to God help him catch a zebra, and the zebra praying to get away. Ain't that something? That's a funny God, man. Like you see the meme where they create the ant, and the ant's like, "Thank you for giving me life," and he creates an anteater. Like you're all intelligent, but you created a world that needs the world to sustain itself. You created beings that need to consume other beings to contain it, to sustain itself. Way to go. Way to go for perfect. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. You need to refuel yourself with other life. It's not perfect, bro. And it never was, because they can eat from any tree except the one, right? So they always required the life of something else to live off of. Even when they were supposed to be perfect, they were told to eat.
According to the literature, for people who don't understand, we're talking about
according to the literature, absolutely.
People like, wait, how you gonna reference the Bible? Oh my God! They'd be like, how you reference the Bible if the Bible ain't true?
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Clamp said, Kevin, do you think psychedelics can be the answer to these questions, such as an afterlife experience? Afterlife experience? Absolutely. Why not? Why not? Why not? They challenge your mental paradigm, right? Many people often try these substances and have the same thing, have the same type of experiences, and scientists really can't pinpoint what it is that these products or plants or mushrooms, DMT, salvia, these things are doing. Rashad is speaking on DMT right now. Absolutely. Your brain produces DMT on its own when you sleep. It produces DMT, and it produces DMT when you die. This is why I would have to agree that they would be linked, because your dreams are linked to DMT. Your death is linked to DMT. So an afterlife experience associated with in ingesting DMT, yes. Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it be associated?
That's a huge burst of DMT when you die too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Queen. And if you think about it, if you look at the brain, death and taking a dose of DMT, the brain doesn't know any difference. So we would have to say that it has something in common with one another. That trip, and also what happens moments before you die.
Oh, whenever you're ready, the video's ready as well.
Oh, heck yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay. I'll put the chat there because it might be a while. Grab his Snickers. It's about 30 minutes, but he made a part 2, and I'm hoping he covers, because he has like a little bit of rambling, so I'm hoping we go past that.
Yeah, we definitely are going to try our best to.
But yeah.
Let me see if I can get this camera right. Oh man, I'm whitewashed out big time. Alright, here we go. That's a little better. Alright, so what up, Facebook? It's Brother Tez One, and I follow a brother named Kevin Wesley. I've been following him, I guess, about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now. He's interesting. He's a little different than a lot of the other I guess rhetoric talkers out there, like Brother Polite, Brother Seti, and so on and so forth, them guys. So, and he often presents stuff to challenge Christianity, which is, the other brothers do it, but, that's really his focus of attention. And so he put a post out, I don't know, I think it was either today or yesterday, on his site, and it just happened to show up on my timeline. And it piqued my interest because it's a topic that, I'm rather familiar with. It piqued my interest. It did. And he called it the Heaven Challenge.
Oh my God, your notifications are retarded.
In the beginning of the video, it has a title.
Guys, leave Kevin alone.
Basically saying that heaven is a physical place and not spiritual. And that's pretty much what the dialogue, or not even dialogue, the monologue that he's pushing in the video. And so he asks a series of questions in the video, in this challenge. I guess trying to spur people to debate him, I guess. I'm not really one for debate. To each is his own. Is my approach to religion, to spirituality, anything that deals with God. To each is his own. I often come from the standpoint of, if I give you the truth and you choose to reject it, that's on you. If you're not convicted by the same things that I'm convicted by, that's on you. But in his challenge, he asked a series of questions, and I'm gonna just go over them, and then I'm gonna answer them one by one. And I'm gonna try to do it very simply. One of his prerequisites for this challenge, though, was that you use biblical literature. I'll literally only use one scripture to refer to, and I really don't even after I looked at it, I wanted to go further, but I don't want to overcomplicate this, and I don't want to, because this man apparently at one point was a minister. So I'm not trying to get in that type of conversation, really. Not that I can't hold my own, but it's just one of those things where, at the end of the day, he gonna think and feel how he think and feel, and I'm gonna think and feel how I think and feel. But let me present the questions. His first question, or one of the questions I should say, that he asked, is heaven a physical or a spiritual place? All right. The second question is, where is heaven? He asked a few other questions, but these were the core central questions to the challenge. Is heaven a physical or a spiritual place? All right, so again, when he opens the video, the title of the video basically is his assertion that heaven is a physical place rather than a spiritual place. And he goes on and explains why it's a physical place in the video. If you watch the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, the second question is, where is heaven? And then he also asks, how do we get there? He asks again, is it a real place? Like, is it in reality, in our reality? And he used a couple scriptures to kind of show his point of view in terms of how it is a physical, real place. The scripture that I believe he used in reference to that was Acts 1, 9, and 11. And then the fourth question he asks, is heaven and hell a state of mind? And that's the only question that he answers that we're similar in terms of thinking, heaven and hell being a state of mind. But am I trying to play devil's advocate a little? Yeah. But he posed the challenge and he posed the question, though he did say that this was really only for anyone. Well, he said this was for anyone who could prove where heaven is, but this was specifically, he got real specific, this is for Christians and ministers. I guess that, that he's trying to get dialogue with. So I don't know if I fit the description of the people that he might be trying to talk to, if you will, or whatever's going on with him with that. So let me answer the questions. The first question, and the scripture that I'm going to use, and I don't have to go any further than this, is Genesis 1:1. It says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. All right. So in terms of, if I wanted to get technical to the question, and I get the Hebrew, I have the Hebrew definition of heaven. And the Hebrew definition, and I don't know if I'm going to say this word right, it's spelled, I'll spell it and then I'll try to say it. It's Shamayim, and I think that's Shamim, I think is what it is how you say the word in Hebrew. I'm not Hebrew. I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. Don't wish to be. So I may be saying that wrong. But it's a conflict.
I need like a fast forward button.
Within theology and Hebrewism or Israel.
Let's skip ahead. Let's skip like 2 minutes.
If the interpretation as is presented in the Bible, and venerated ancestors are said to originate, be enthroned, or live. So to me, that was a pretty thorough definition of what and where heaven is.
Let's get his definition of heaven real quick. Here we go.
I didn't have what they feel like is truth. To each is his own. Now, what I also did.
Hold on. Wait, what'd you say, Kev?
We're right there, Eddie. I wanted them to hear the definition that he found on Google for heaven.
I didn't go into Webster's. I just Googled the shit. And, according to Wikipedia, which I feel like is a fairly good definition, heaven is a common religious, cosmological, or transcendent place where beings such as gods, angels, jinns, saints, and venerated ancestors are said to originate, be enthroned, or live.
Now, I want to show you guys something here. If we can we look that definition up on, what was it, Wikipedia? He looked it up. That way I can read it verbatim. You don't have to put it on the screen. You can leave this here, but I just want to read it off the screen.
Want to find the Hebrew definition of heaven?
No, that's actually Shemayim. Shemayim would be actually that's how that's pronounced. But I just want you to look up heaven Wikipedia definition. And he's right. Hebrew is actually very hard to speak or pronounce if you don't know what their so-called vowels are doing. Because Hebrew doesn't have vowels; it just has what we would call consonants. So it doesn't have A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. You have to know how a word is going to sound due to some of the what they call dialects or clues that they leave up underneath to tell you exactly how to pronounce the word. So that's why he doesn't know if it's Shemayim or what. So what now?
Want me to just read the first paragraph of what Wikipedia says?
Well, yeah, that's fine. You could have put it in front of me. I could have read it. It's fine. Whichever way you prefer.
People like your voice.
I don't know
You
if
shall
that's
read
true.
it.
Never heard. They like Shondale's voice. I've never heard anybody tell me they like my
True,
voice.
true. Shondell, call up. We gotta need you. We gonna need you to read a little bit of Wikipedia.
When people tell me they can listen to me all day, they're talking about intellect, my conversation. I've never heard anybody say your voice. You know, you got a nice voice.
It's authoritative though. It can be, but you held it back a lot.
Yeah, I do. I come from, man, being everywhere I ever worked, man, I was always deemed as intimidating. You know what I'm saying? So I like kind of practice on holding my total self back because people feel intimidated. It's really weird, but don't do anything to hurt anybody. Just pretty much just come in there to do my job, but people feel intimidated. Don't know where to get this stuff. But here we go, guys. I'm going to read this to you. This right here is Wikipedia's definition for heaven. Heaven, or the heavens, is a common religious, cosmological, or transcendent place where beings such as gods, angels, jinns, saints, or venerated ancestors are said to originate, be enthroned, or live. That's what it says, guys. Now, I'm going to read this again because this is not any indication as to where or what heaven is. I want to show you something. Watch this. Imagination. What is imagination? Imagination is a common... Now tell me if this sounds like I'm wrong. Imagination is a common religious, cosmological, transcendent place where beings such as gods, angels, jinns, saints, or venerated ancestors are said to originate, be enthroned, or lived. Does it sound like I'm wrong defining imagination? Does it sound like it? Because you can't find your imagination. It's not outside of you. You can't go there. Have any one of you taken a trip physically to your imagination? No. So where is heaven now? Because right now it only exists in your imagination. Image in. Imagination. Image in nation. So inside of your mind, the images to heaven are in your mind. This is why you can imagine it. You have someone speak on their heaven. They have been given an image for heaven. A Muslim's image for heaven is virgins. A Christian's image for heaven is mansions. You know, pearly gates, streets of gold, casting their crown back at Jesus. You know, a Hindu's thought of heaven is going to be different. Just like my man said about Valhalla, that's considered heaven, and that's fighting every single day and drinking. You know, so there are going to be many concepts in your imagination. But is heaven a common religious, cosmological place, a transcendent place where beings such as gods or jinns or saints exist, or is your imagination this place? You couldn't. I promise you could not prove me wrong. Okay. You can't. You're not going to take a trip to your imagination. This is not a place that you can physically go to. This is where gods exist. This is where angels and jinns and all this kind of stuff exists in your imagination. So reading that definition does not give us any more of a clue as to where heaven is. Okay. Without prolonging it anymore, we can go ahead and continue unless anybody, disagrees with me. And if they do, we'll definitely stop if you comment. But these ideas are in your mind. That's the only place they have existed so far.
So to me, that was a pretty thorough definition of what and where heaven is. Where I didn't have to go look
of what and where heaven is. Y'all heard that? This thing is nothing about where heaven
is. Look beyond what Wikipedia said. I felt like that. For me, that was a good enough definition. I don't know about for anybody else. That was pretty thorough to me. So I'll leave that right there. So let me answer these questions. And, again, the scripture that I use is Genesis 1, verse 1. The very first scripture after you get beyond the table of contents of the Bible, the very first scripture. It doesn't really matter what translation you read, whether it's the New International Version, whether it's the King James, whether it's the Hibiscus Version. It doesn't matter. This pretty much says the same thing. After a certain point in the Bible, you have to realize that, and this is another thing that he tends to do in his teachings. When he's teaching people, he takes things that are supposed to be figurative, meaning I'm telling you a story and I'm painting a picture and I'm using metaphor or allegory to tell the story. That's a figurative story. And I'm not saying he's wrong, because there are people that think, certain stories in the Bible are literal stories, are literal, meaning happen like it was written exactly in the Bible. Even after you tell them, hey, this Bible has went through a series of translations and all of this, it has changed over time. So I get his angle in terms of dealing with people that see it as literal, and this is kind of where he was coming from with this question as, is heaven kind of a literal place or is it a figurative place that kind of plays on the spiritual physical question? I'm coughing here for a second. So the reason why I chose Genesis 1:1, because when I teach something, I teach especially scripture, whether it's the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Pentateuch, the teachings of Buddha, the teachings of Confucianism, Taoism, whatever it is that I'm trying to teach somebody regarding religion. There's a few things that I try to look at. The first thing is context. So if it's written Genesis 1:1, I'm reading Genesis 1:1, I'm reading Genesis 2, 1:2, 1:3, 1:4, so on and so forth. Wherever it seems where a reasonable person would say, okay, that train of thought stopped. That's in context. The second thing is I try to teach people to recognize the environment.
That's how it's looking so
Majority
far.
of the teachings that a lot of Christian central beliefs come from, they come from teachings that were taught through, from mouth to ear or tongue to ear. They were oratory. And then in time, when the powers that be got them, they were translated and
I'm about to say, it's just ranting.
No. And he's trying to, bring more, clarity to what he's saying, but at the same time, he's not going anywhere with it. The question is, where is this biblical heaven? You see what I'm saying? So, from the sound of what he's saying, he's not a subscriber of this information either. And he's right. My information was for people who did subscribe to the information because they do believe in this heaven. So basically, when I listen to what he says, he says that, I like to teach in such a way where I talk about things that are figurative as if they are literal. Well, that's because majority of the world believes the stuff is literal, and that's my whole point, is that it's ridiculous to believe that this stuff is literal. So that I definitely talk from that standpoint as if it was literal, because that's what people believe, right? If we understand it as allegory, I wouldn't even be on here talking. You see, wouldn't even have a problem with it at all. But the problem is people don't believe it's allegory. They literally believe a lot of this stuff happened. Josh, what's your thoughts so far, if you have any?
I don't like when people talk a lot, because that lets me know they're trying to sell me some BS. When you ask them something simple, and then they talk a lot, that means usually some BS is around you or following.
And the thing about it, they're not even always aware. They're not even always aware that they are going around the bush because they don't have a direct answer. They don't know. They really don't. He talked about the beginning of the Bible coming from Genesis 1:1. He didn't get to it yet, but we know that's in the beginning God created, right? And he talks about it does not matter which translation you read. However, it does, because all of them don't say the same thing. He says every single one of them say the same thing. They don't. If you talk about, because I haven't read every translation, let's be honest, but we're going to talk about Hebrew, because I know Hebrew pretty fairly well. Okay, I went to school for it. Okay, and then we're talking about the Bible that we have now. Okay, so Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God, is how it starts off. Okay, well, the Hebrew version says Bereshit et Elohim is what it says. So this is actually saying something different. Where the translation that people have in their homes in English says in the beginning God, Bereshit et Elohim is plural. That is saying in the beginning gods. That changes a lot. And it also brings more in when it said, let us make man in our image. Now you kind of get a hint as to who he's talking to, right? Or who it's talking to. If it is God, who is God talking to when he says, let us make man in our image? But if it's Elohim and many gods, referred to as Elohim because you're talking about all at one time, right? Like sheep, and sheep is, you don't put an S on it. You see what I'm saying? So if you're talking, if you say Elohim, it doesn't have to end it in the S. That is a plural word, and you can look across the board. Elohim is a plural word, and so it makes more sense of who we're talking to. And we tell people all the time that this Bible was a polytheistic religion long before it was a monotheistic religion. They worked very hard to make it a singular God, but the fact is, it was more than one. Even in the Bible, this is why you hear God referred to, the biblical God referred to, by using many names. They're actually not talking to the biblical God. They're talking to another being. You're just told that that person is God. When they have a conversation with El Shaddai, they're not talking to Yahweh, as many Christians believe. They're actually talking to another being. So they work really, really hard to kind of bring in all of these different personalities and make them one God with many personalities, so to speak. You see, so just reading those first 3 or 4 words of the Bible, Bereshit et Elohim, and then in the beginning God, that's a world of difference, and that's the first sentence. You see, that's the first half of a sentence. They didn't even give enough to put a period there, and it's already a misinterpretation. So it does say things different. That's why you can't put your hope and faith on this stuff, because you have to depend on someone else to have translated the stuff appropriately for you. Come on, y'all. To think a God, an all-knowing, powerful God, is behind this, what we right here. It would be foolish to think that, if you really want to put serious thought into it. A true all-knowing God is behind literature that has been misinterpreted. Come on, let's really think about it. A few minutes in, he even goes into saying we don't even know if this stuff is true at all, because we don't even know the origins of this literature. And so he's not a subscriber to belief in religion. And it appears that he actually is in agreement with me on several topics, especially heaven and hell being a state of the mind. Now, because we can't get all the way through it, he does say something that I find very interesting. He says that heaven is both physical and spiritual. Heaven is both physical and spiritual. Sounds crazy at first, but when he explains it, he's actually correct. If you want to use the word spiritual to define imagination and thought, then they are synonymous. If you imagine something that starts off here in your spiritual realm or in your mind, in your imagination, and then you can manifest it in reality, making heaven spiritual or and physical, if you want to go there like that. A person can believe their spouse is cheating on them when they in fact are not, and this belief can cause them to create their own hell. Distrust between them and their spouse, and insecurity between them and their spouse, and even worse, a person can cause their spouse to even walk away by making them feel like, by showing their insecurity so much to the point to where they try to control their spouse. All for idea in your mind. So we do know that your thoughts can create your reality. So if he's coming from that standpoint, that heaven is physical and spiritual, because of that is not at all speaking to where is heaven located biblically. You see what I'm saying? So that was my thing to him. He said some things that were actually very good, if you guys want to go back and listen to his video. But it seems that we actually stand in agreement on a lot of things. I actually like the guy. I think he has some really interesting thoughts. I disagree with trying to state what my motives may be. That I disagree with. I don't post for debates, obviously. If any one of you have followed me, he said he's followed me for 4 months, and he doesn't know I don't debate yet. I don't debate, so I don't post for debates. I actually post for dialogue. I post to challenge people's mental paradigm. We have all been taught something since a child. So my videos are intended, if you can go from my intention is to challenge your belief and challenge what you have been taught and cause you to challenge it yourself and ask questions to yourself. Not necessarily for you to, give that energy back to me in a negative way because of the content on the video. What I prefer you do is do some introspection. You see what I'm saying? Actually say, is there something to what this person is saying, rather than just saying you're blasphemous and you're a devil worshiper.
Arthur said, will it be morning by the time he makes his point? That's savage. Yeah, like I said, I think he had the best approach out of the people that responded. He had the best approach. I guess says a lot, because most people, it's funny because this is the time where everybody wants to make an exposed video, but when we put money on the table, we invite you on the show, and we invite you, we're gonna post your video on our page, people just run. And The funny thing is, this was like half my idea. The video was like half my idea, and like then half Kevin's. So
Josh is
just
very
like
modest. This is actually Josh's idea. It's just Josh is very, very modest. I appreciate you right now, Josh.
we partners. I mean, because honestly, it's funny because like I feel like I beat scholars, like actual
It'd be
logic beats scholars.
well, if you can't prove an individual exists, how are you gonna prove where his house is, right?
Right.
And that's why you're not gonna get a lot of scholars to come on this subject, because you have to come with logic. You cannot address the Bible with logic. You cannot. We're asking a real question. Where is this place? If it's in the sky, then why have we never saw it, right? We have telescopes, man. Come on. You trying to tell me this place is anywhere? Like, come on now. And to exist the way it does, like I said, me and Josh was actually laughing about it, trying to get through the video. When you look up how exactly, a pearl is made, it's just foolish to think that would be the mineral or material that heaven's gates would be made out of. Like what God has, angels on clam duty. I mean, just opening their mouth, yanking the pearls out of their mouth, and processing them in the pearly gate. I mean, it just sounds crazy, man. I mean, it just sounds crazy. It just sounds
in the
crazy.
Dark Ages, I bet it sound dope though. In the Dark Ages,
Well, they didn't think about why would a clam's hard saliva be used as gates to God's entrance. I mean, a barbaric mind probably ain't gonna think that.
it thought it was pretty dope back then.
They probably didn't even know how pearls were made. So
Yeah.
you think something like that at that time, pearls are something that's deemed as valuable. And if you're trying to make heaven more appealing to the eye, then why not use things that people already find valuable? Let's use mansions. Let's use white horses. Let's use gold. Let's use all the things that man find valuable. Because see, ants don't walk around finding gold valuable. Ants don't walk around, finding clam pearls valuable. They don't. This is something that humans find valuable, right? We are intrigued by these objects. Absolutely. So why then? Is heaven intriguing to horses because it has streets of gold, or is there something in it for horses? Does God give them something else in it? Is it like long, fields of beautiful grass that's always ready to eat in season? Is it, what's in it for everybody else? And that's the thing about it when you're dealing with heaven. All the people and a lot of Christians have this idea that if you die, and you don't know who God is, he's not going to send you to hell, right? God is too loving for that. But now you're talking about people who are potentially in heaven that don't even believe in this guy and probably spent their life believing in some other guy. Now, if you ask a Christian, in all honesty, if you die to believing you're going to go to heaven and see Jesus or Yahweh, and you end up in heaven because you never heard of Krishna or Shiva, right? And you up there and you see Shiva, you see Krishna, how are you going to feel about that? You see what I'm saying? You have spent your whole life believing in human beings as your God. Jesus is your God. And you get up there and you see Krishna sitting Indian style on a lotus flower. What you gonna say, dude?
Like that video I showed you with that chick sitting on a lotus flower.
Yeah, like just like that. Blue and everything, just chilling. What you gonna say? What are you gonna say if you expected to see Jesus Christ? You're not going to be happy, man. You're gonna be like, where is my Jesus? The same way as anybody else subscribed to another religion, they have their identity, their what they feel like is love attached to this character, their need, their hope attached to this person. If they die and that person is not who they see, they're going to be afraid and they're going to be very unhappy. That's not heaven for somebody who wakes up in somewhere obviously totally different than what you expected. You done thought Jesus died for you. You done thought all this stuff and loved Jesus your whole life, only to wake up and see Krishna. You don't even know you wouldn't even know how to even apply love to Krishna. You don't know him. You wouldn't know him. Simple facts.
Do you think if you had like an honest dialogue, you think people would like it? I guess if you met like a truth serum and like you ask somebody why they love God, it's like because I have to. It's like it's just like I don't have a choice. It's not like a genuine like I could say I would love somebody because they're there for me,
Mm-hmm.
or I can I can call them, if I need something. They were there for me when I was down. They had my back when I was in the hospital or something, like,
Thank you
dramatic
very
or
much,
whatever.
LeSean.
Thanks, LaShawn. Um, I'm curious if, like, on a subconscious level, they truly know, like, they only love God because they have to in order to get, to where they want to go when they die.
See, now, this is why I love Josh, guys. You hear this? Josh said he's curious as to know whether or not Christians love God because they have to. Now, here's the key, guys. The one thing you have to think about this, and here's the epiphany, right? Why would one have to love God? Think about that. Why would someone have to love God? Think about that. Why would that be a prerequisite from a God who doesn't need anything? Think about this. A God who existed before man, before anything ever, demands love. Just think about how crazy this sounds. Love is an ambiguous word. Love is just really a feeling. The only way you can express your love is to express feelings that you associate with love. A guy likes a girl. He buys her flowers. In other cultures, that don't mean a dang thing. But you do that, and you feel like that's some special stuff to express your love, right? Even kiss, French kiss, the way you have sex, all this stuff has been taught to you by way of expressing love. However, in other countries, this is not always seen as love. People express love in different ways. So how can someone demand love from you? And love is being an interpretation. When people say I love you, okay, real words are not coming out of their mouth and forming, right? When people say they love you, they are expressing a feeling that they can't describe in no other way but to use those four letters that they were taught to use. Love you means sincere. It means I'm sincere about you. That's what it means. I'm sincere about you, the person that you are. You make me happy. You make me release dopamine. I care for you. This is what this means. Saying I love you doesn't mean that you want to spend the rest of your life with someone. We know feelings change. Emotions change. At that moment, you may very well feel that. It's a feeling. So you're telling me that a God demands that you feel a certain way about him. Love your God with all your heart. How is that a commandment? Anybody out there, now let's just, for instance, okay, ladies that are listening right now, okay, on Facebook and YouTube, you are a lady. Would you force a man to love you? That is my question. You love him with all of your heart. If you had it your way, the person that you love right now, would you force them to love you? Period. Would you feel happy knowing the love was forced? If your man tells you, hey, I don't want to be in this relationship no more, whatever, it's not working for me, I think we need space. If you had the option to snap your fingers and force that man to love you, would you do it? Men, the same question, yes or no? Would you force someone to love you and be happy with the love that they're giving you? That's my question. Let me see some comments or whatever. See what people are saying. I would love to know what you guys think about this. Thou shalt love the Lord. Come on, guys. Thou shalt love? That don't even sound right. Where's the logic in that? Nope. Linda said, no, I would not force someone to love me. No, that's crazy.
It's not genuine.
It's not genuine at all. How is that real? You telling me if I don't love you, I go to hell, but so how can you even know I love you? How can you know I love you?
Jesus knows your heart.
Candy said no.
He's got a lie detector on your heart.
Absolutely. Somebody said get Coach on the screen. If Coach available.
Yeah, Coach has been MIA. Coach has found him a boo thing. He has been MIA, y'all. Trying to put Coach's business out there. I still love the guy. So my man.
So right now, everybody's saying no. Nobody would force. So you guys would not force somebody to love you. You wouldn't say, "Oh, you gonna love me." You wouldn't go Jennifer Hudson, Jennifer Holiday on them. You gonna love me? You ain't gonna go there. It's not love if it's forced. Eden Adele, the actual creator of love itself, and everything romantic. Eden Adele said, if it's not love, it is not force. Absolutely. Jonathan said he doesn't. He doesn't what? Force love? Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, mind, and soul. He doesn't demand love? Are you sure? If that's what you're saying. Nope. KB said no. Queen said no. No, forced love is not real. So everybody seems to unanimously agree that forcing someone to love you is not real love. Wow. But yet your God would say, love me. Put no other gods before me. This is the type of demands that a seemingly or supposedly omnipotent God who needs nothing outside of itself, demanding people to put in first. I want first fruits. The God who owns that cattle on 1,000 hills and nothing would be made if this God didn't exist demands 10% of anything from you. You don't find that as ridiculous?
Submission.
Come on,
I
guys.
do it for submission.
Yeah, and it's to keep you humble. Come on, guys.
I just want to see you submit to me.
Absolutely.
I like just like the point of prayer. It's like, I already know what you want. I just want to hear you beg for it.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw you go through that tragedy.
Jonathan Terry said he doesn't force you. If you do not submit to his son and the belief in his son, you go to hell for eternity. It is not a choice. How do you think that's a choice? If someone put a gun to your head and said, love me or die, and you choose to love him, is that really a choice? I mean,
I like when I like when people do these kind of arguments because it's always like, what? I mean, you have the choice. It's called blackmailing.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with the term of blackmail, it's where I hang something over your head. If you don't do what I want you to do, there's a punishment that's involved. So yes, eternal hellfire is a pretty intimidating, punishment.
Figurative
Yes.
facts. Man,
If you use that in court, you are being punished. That's even worse, being coerced. That's blackmail.
facts.
Don't try it.
Josh, look, man. If you're in court and there's a woman, the woman's in court, right? And she's telling you, this man raped me, right? And the man's lawyer says, well, technically she had a choice. Oh, okay, go on. I want to hear this, right? The man did offer her the choice to die. He told her plainly, I'm going to kill you if you don't give it up. That's not rape, Your Honor. He gave her a choice. He could be being tried for murder right now, and the only reason he is being tried for rape is because she did not choose to die. I think we should throw her in jail. How stupid does that sound? That's not a choice. Love me or burn in hell, that's a choice. Love me or die by this gun. Give me love. Give me something I want from you, which I've never given you anything to earn it. Okay, a woman has sex with a man when she's willing. It's because he's done something to earn it. Either he looks a certain way, right? He's treating her a certain way. Say what?
Yeah, but no, he did give something. He gave his life for you.
That's not real. So we're talking about something for real. Like, I'm talking about something really in your life. A man courts a woman. He treats her. He whispers sweet nothing in her ear. Even if he's manipulating her, he's still doing something to get something that he wants from her. What these people are doing is giving this God idea, this God concept, everything from them. Yet their God has done nothing for them personally, other than what they are taught to associate with the gift from God. Another day, every breath you breathe, having food on your table. These things are associated with God doing stuff for you, when in fact someone else is doing these things for you. You're breathing on your own, you're waking up, and your mama, if you're too young, is putting food on your table. If you're grown, you're probably doing those things. So please explain to me how you give, you get, right? Isn't that life? Your relationship with your God is a parasitic relationship. All that happens is that you give, and you never get. Everything that you get comes by way of work you done to get it. Your God says so itself. Turn from your ways, then I will heal you. Allah says, I won't help nobody who ain't willing to help himself. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Your blessings is linked to what you do on this earth, not to some God that's in heaven blessing you because you think highly of it. You know how crazy that is? Come on, y'all. Be a very unfair world if it was ran by a God who blessed people just because they believed in him. You don't understand how lazy the world would be? Me and Josh were talking the other day. If giving someone money and getting it back, pressed down, shaken together, and running over were really true, then so many people would be rich right now. So many people would be rich right now. But the fact is they're not. So come on, guys. You're asking, this biblical God is asking for you for something that it hasn't yet given you. You see? And that's just the whole thing, right? That's it in a nutshell. It's a parasitic relationship. Super facts. There's a mushroom or a flower that only grows on the roots of a tree. You understand what I'm saying? And it only grows because it leaches to the tree and pulls whenever the tree is pulling in water, because the actual mushroom roots don't go deep enough to get the root. I mean, to get water or nutrients. So it connects to this tree, and when the tree is pulling in this nutrients, the actual mushroom pulls the nutrients from the tree, and that's why it's able to survive. But it doesn't give anything to this tree. It doesn't do anything favorable for this tree. You see, this is what the biblical God is like. What is he doing for you? He wants you to love him, but what is he doing for you?
The thing is, they think God is doing everything for them.
Right. They think. That's the whole thing about it.
They subscribe to a belief, and then they mold their reality according to a belief, which is completely backwards thinking. But that's what happens. They think, oh, the sun, the moon, the stars, the grass, the animals, that must be from this book I read. That must be from this religion I subscribe to. That's it. But everything, when we talk about God, they're like, how can you deny the sun, the moon, the stars, the grass, the pigs, the goats, blah, blah, blah. But they come from a backwards thinking of the book. The book says God made all this stuff. So he's talking about everything God made. No, we're talking about reality, and the book exists in the reality.
Absolutely.
The book is just a part of the reality. Reality is not part of the book. That's, I guess, the easiest way to translate the thinking. But you can't think backwards from that.
Absolutely. I mean, and also, let me read what Eden said real quick. Hang on.
Oh, my bad.
You're fine. Okay, Eden says, why does an omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient God have an ego? Great question. Ego only exists where there is some lack of self-love, self-acceptance, or self-knowledge. How does ego exist in a being with no lack? How does jealousy exist in a being with no lack? How can you have it all and be jealous? Come on. Right? Come on, man. He said his name was jealous. How can you know you jealous when you say your name jealous? Come on now.
He said it himself.
Yeah, your God whose name is jealous. Really, dude?
Oh my goodness. That's why I love you, Eden. We gotta have you on the show. I'm gonna keep bugging you about it till you get on here.
Hey,
this is a good question.
Bougie said, where did you study Hebrew? Listen, let me tell you something. I wish I could get my money back. Believe me. But if you can correct me on Bereshit Elohim or any Hebrew I've ever mentioned, please feel free. If you want to discredit me, just tell me what I said wrong, if you don't mind, please. I don't know why y'all do that.
Jonathan would like to know, I'm confused on why this is so important to you and convincing those who do trust in God otherwise. Why is that, Kevin?
Okay, so why is it important to me to shed light on what we have been taught by our predecessors who did not research what they were taught? Jonathan, listen. If this religion is not true, you are contributing to a lie that is created to control you. People contribute to this religion and give money to this religion, believing that them planting this seed, that they call it, of money is going to get them blessed by way of some God. And people, in order for them to give money, people have to receive it, right? So if people are receiving money from other people, becoming more rich and more wealthy off of the funds of poor, hopeful people, becoming the water of a wishing well, literally, I have a problem with that because it's counterproductive to progression. If this Bible is not true, we should not be giving to this Bible and the belief therein. It's counterproductive. So you should think about the literature that you have, that you believe in wholeheartedly, and question if it's not true. Then you know my intentions and why it's not good. You should think so yourself. If the Bible's not true, is it good for humanity? And if you would say yeah, then let's say the Quran is good for humanity. Then, even though you don't believe in it, any book that is not the word of God, if it's good for people, then we might as well read them all. You know, people love to ask that question. You know, why are you so concerned with us believing in what we want to believe in? Why was my grandma so concerned with what I believed in? Why she forced this crap on me? Why your mama forced this on you? Why your daddy forced it on you? Nobody asked them that question. You know why? They had proper motive, the fear of hell, and the love of you to protect you from that hell. So yeah, they're going to teach you this crap. There's a clear motive. You know, there's a clear motive.
Master Kevin Wesley.
But I can't have a motive because there's nothing for me to gain. You know, you don't get to go to heaven, Kevin, and you don't fear hell. So why are you teaching? Why are you showing people that this stuff is false? So why are you challenging it? Because I simply care about people, and I don't like to see people get lied to. I think people should have the opportunity to at least hear the truth. Now, if they accept it, then that's on them. But I think they deserve an opportunity, as we definitely had an opportunity to hear the lie. You see what I'm saying? I think it's fair to tell somebody the truth, you know.
It's just, it's funny because we're not the ones telling people they're going to hell when they die because that's what we believe. We're questioning why we say hell is fake. But if somebody's threatening somebody else with saying, hey, if you don't do this book, if you don't subscribe to this, if you don't tithe, if you don't do this, you don't do that, you going to hell. That's why people do that, but you ask why we just say that's BS.
Absolutely. He says no one showed it to him, but he chose it as he got older. But you have to think like this, Jonathan. Did they show you Zoroastrianism? Did they show you that? Did they show you Hinduism? Did they show you Islam? Did they give you a clear opportunity to join any of those or teach you anything about it? Did they have you ever prayed to Krishna because you saw your mama do it? What about Buddha? What about Jah Rastafari, right? What about any of these people that people call gods or demons, God or deity? You weren't exposed to any of them. You got exposed to one, and that's what you believe in. So you saying I wasn't forced. You don't feel like it was forced, but whenever someone gives you information before you're prepared for it, that is forcing. You're giving someone one thing before their mind is even capable of dissecting it. A child is told that a virgin had a baby long before they even know that it takes 6 to have a baby. Do you not see how ludicrous that is? How can a child challenge a virgin having a baby if they would even believe a stork delivers babies? They will believe anything you tell them. And in a state where their mind is so fallible that you can tell them that a fat man dressed in red goes down a chimney of every house in the world, even poor people who die every day, okay, from hunger, that Santa Claus supposedly goes down the chimney of every person, and your child believes it, and you still tell them about Jesus Christ and another religion to believe in or go to hell. Yeah, that's not fair at all. That's not fair at all. If you want to be fair, wait till a child is old enough to actually critically think before you give them this stuff. But you have to learn it at an early age. Otherwise, it ain't gonna take. It ain't gonna take. If the mind is already thinking critically, it's impossible.
I'm gonna say, LaShawn, there's actually more than 2.8 million. Well, if you include the flood, I guess. Without I don't think the flood gave numbers, but yeah, God killed more than 2.8 in the Bible.
Right, not counting the whole world by flood. Absolutely.
Why do you guys not harbor the same angst and disgust that you guys have for Kevin, for pastors and people that do misuse the Bible? Like why here? Like, as far as a priority list, would you want to go after people? Because those people actually make you guys look like Christians and believers look worse than Kevin does.
You're right, Candy. That was a mistake, Candy. Candy said people don't pray to Buddha. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. I just find the priority is really odd. It's like, we know corruption exists in our religion, but hey, if you're saying our religion is completely false, while this man is touching on children, I have a problem with you saying my religion's false. Like, where's your mind at?
Absolutely.
It seems like they want to protect a belief, and not only do they not only want to protect the belief, but they don't care what's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, are you doing this just because it's fun? Is like religion like fun, or are you doing it because it's like real, or you think it's real? I'm just kind of curious on like your thought pattern.
I love to know that too, because they ask the question, why are you coming against it? When if you go to anybody, Josh, and you're trying to share with them the truth on something that can help them, they don't typically ask you why you're doing that, as if you're trying to hurt them by bringing them information. If I come to you and say, hey Josh, I got this information that you need, it's going to get you, that thing that you want to get to, you ain't going to say, why are you bringing this to me trying to change me? You ain't going to say that. I'm not trying to take anything from you. I'm trying to tell you the truth, And a lot of people say, well, and then what? And what do you mean, and then what? Then you have the truth. Your decision is after that, once you have the truth. You know, someone tells you that, hey, I've been seeing your husband or your spouse with this person every day at this place, boom, 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 boom. You finally listen and you go see it. Once you see it, it's up to you. You don't ask the person who gave you the information, what I do now? You don't. That's not something you ask them. That's not up to them what you do. It's your life. You're going to choose the road and the route you take, you know. People often ask me that, why don't you give somebody something else? It's like, people don't understand a critical mind is what you need to have. Critical mind can replace a lot of the problems that you have. A lot of where we are is due to ignorance, and I'm gonna pronounce that word, ignorance. Ignorance. We ignore things, therefore we have hope in things because we have ignored things. You see, but the thing about being aware is that you become enlightened to things that you used to ignore. I'm gonna give you guys an example. I was talking to Josh about the Truman Show. Just let me know if you guys have saw the Truman Show, just by yes or no. If you saw the Truman Show, I'm gonna wait just a little bit.
LaShawn, I got you, bro.
Yeah, I just saw that too. Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna let him make his point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna open it up just because it's almost 2 hours and 10 minutes. I'm gonna have him finish his thoughts. I'm going to have LaShawn on. Jonathan, if you want to call, we'd gladly invite you on. If you want to have the phone call conversation instead of texting, up to you.
Jonathan says, though you're putting Christians in one basket, just as people put Muslims in one basket.
No.
I would never attempt to put you guys in a basket, but if you are a Christian, if you are a Muslim, the one thing that you guys have in common is that you do subscribe to a belief in literature that you believe came from a higher power versus the people who wrote it. You believe for some reason that the people who wrote it literally had a connection with a god or some sort. Many people are saying yes, they have saw the Truman Show. Some people saying no, it is a dope movie, absolutely. So I'm not trying to generalize you guys, but this is something that you guys do all share in common. You subscribe to a belief without research. This is facts, man. You're not telling me that you found God or that you touched Jesus or anything for sure. You know you don't have proof. It is 100% faith. So
I was gonna say there are Christians that research, but it's biased research.
It's biased research, yeah.
Like apologetics research, but they only research things to help defend,
to solidify their already belief, their already subscribed belief.
Correct. So it's not, I'm looking for truth. It's research. I'm looking to defend the word of God. Like,
absolutely.
A completely different type of quest for information, and also what they'll accept. Because people always say, Kevin, you're not a scholar. You can't speak on the Bible this way. But we have videos of Bart Ehrman and that woman, what's her name? I forgot. It's like a really complicated name.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, and that video has been, people have basically, we did take the video, but it had like 1 million views. And then other channels put it up as well. Nobody says anything about that. Nobody about what she says. Nobody says what Bart Ehrman says. And Bart Ehrman's like pretty much like, I don't want to say the king of like the scholarship game on this stuff, but so far he seems like to be the top person. And he says the Bible is not true. Or he says Jesus existed, but not like the Son of God, like whoever they inspired. This Jesus character, he was like a priest or whatever.
Yeah, they're talking about Yeshua being yourself when they're referring to an actual human being who people sprinkled exaggerations on, hyperboles on about the story of him that supposedly went around verbally, orally for so long until the Romans captured it in literature and said it really happened. So this is what you got, like when they say, Abraham Lincoln, or not Abraham Lincoln, but George Washington never told a lie. Exaggerations of people to make them seem great. Alexander the Great had many exaggerations to him and added to his actual existence. Okay, exaggerations. So people do this. They stretch the truth to make people sound. And people do it now. They be like, man, he hit that joker. Boy, you should have seen how high he was in the air. Like, man, come on. People be like, he was this high in the air. Like, it's a lie, but you go along with it. So the belief, let's see. Thank you very much, Shondell. Shondell said, the belief in hell can lead to anxiety and depression. I would think more people would be excited. I would think so too, bro.
Right, bro. Exactly.
Yeah, and what's crazy, man, Shondell, I was saying the other day that a person has gotten it bad when you can tell them hell doesn't exist and they actually get angry with you. How are you angry? Because I'm telling you, you don't risk going to hell, but they get mad. It's unreal. When somebody believes something so strongly, it doesn't matter how negative it is, they're gonna need to believe it.
They have to believe that people who are not bowing to God's will as they are and they know they're forcing themselves to.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not bowing, I know God's gonna punish you, and I know I'm not gonna be punished. Like I'm not gonna get in trouble. Like it's that's that kid like who does good in school, like the goody two shoes kind of thing. But not like Christians are goody. God, a lot of Christians aren't really living according to what the Bible says. But anyways, they feel like I'm special. I'm the goody two shoes. I do this and that. You're gonna get in trouble. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna be in heaven. You're gonna burn for eternity. I'm gonna be in a nice fluffy cloud. Like,
All right, let me say something real quick. Jahaziel Elliott, man, that's an honor. He said he stayed up at 3 in the morning just to catch my show. That's powerful, brother. I love that.
that's dope.
Yeah. Now watch this. Jonathan Terry said, "It's not my job to condemn, but I love them." Jonathan, I want to ask you a question. Why do you feel so compelled to type those words, "but I love them"? And this is what I mean by control. True awareness, man, is knowing who you are outside of being moved and motivated and pushed outside of this world's constructs. The sheer fact that you feel the need to continue saying, "I love them, I don't hate them, I don't." Why do you feel the need to say that? You feel the need to put this out there because you're supposed to be a Christian and you should love them, right? But what exactly is love? What do you mean you love people even when they disagree with what you're saying? Why is that necessary? We should assume that you do. That's not something that you should have to say. Like me personally, you will never hear me say, if you disagree with me, I'ma still love you. Why do I need to say that? I don't have a need to blurt these type of things to come off as a loving individual. I don't feel it necessary to come off as loving. I already know I am. Why do that? Why express
Yeah.
that?
Here's something I like because he said something interesting earlier. He said, "You cannot tell me it is a lie when I can pull truth out of it." So how? So obviously the Bible says a lot of claims
Mm-hmm.
that you have to take consideration to individually.
Right.
You can't say the cat in the hat, the this and that. I forgot the people that matter will always love you, and if they don't, I'm gonna find a real quote because it's I love it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cat in the hat fan, at least when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But you can take good out of any bad. That doesn't make it entirely good. You can find a good sandwich in a trash can. That doesn't make everything in the trash can delicious and good for you.
Or even true. Or even true.
Right.
Because it could be bad and still be true. But what he's saying is, if you can find good in it, that makes it truth. We're talking
Yeah.
about fact.
Right.
Literally happening. That's what we're talking about. Literally happening in the reality of life. That's what we're talking about. So if the Bible says something that's true, it doesn't make the world flood. You see my point? Like, that's what we're trying to say. Every one of these religious books have some truth to them if you understand what it's saying. But it doesn't mean that it's true. Fact is what we're saying. So
Be yourself because the people who mind don't matter, and the people that matter don't mind.
I like that.
That's Dr. Seuss.
That's powerful.
Does that does that make the cat in the hat real?
Absolutely.
The green eggs, is there really some cats eating green eggs and ham now? Because the people who mind don't matter, and the people that matter don't mind.
Right.
That's
Jonathan, I'm not playing you. I'm asking you. I'm sorry, Josh. But Jonathan said he's getting played because he truly loves people. I'm not saying you don't. I'm asking you, why do you feel it's necessary to say that? I believe you. So I'm not saying that you're lying by saying I love people. My point is, why do you feel it necessary to say that? Nobody here assumes that you hate us. I haven't seen you say a hateful thing. So why do you feel it necessary to say? This is what I talked about this last week. People have a need to appear loving. They have a need to appear nice, to appear reasonable. So we do things out of the norm to appear this way. We care so much about how people receive us, and that's my whole thing. Is when you're not moved by cultural standards, you're not bound to this need to even have to tell anybody that. You might not even feel it as a need. I just asked a simple question: why you feel the need to say that? I cannot accept what you do, but I have a choice to love. I don't. Okay. Jonathan say you're good. I don't get what that means. But yeah, nobody's trying to accuse you of anything, brother. Just saying, why did you feel it necessary to say that? I wouldn't feel it necessary to say that. I love
All right,
you.
we're at
I'm
2 hours.
praying for you, because this is what Christians say. Why do you? If you're gonna pray for me, just pray for me. But
Don't
we
pray
do
for
these.
me.
I know, but I'm saying if you're gonna have thoughts about me, I can't stop you. Why do you have to inform me that you're? This is what I'm saying. Why do we do these things? You see what I'm saying? So it's that there's no need to do these things. Wasn't LeSean gonna call?
Yeah. I just Melody said we are well seasoned in here, so come again. I like that. Yeah. I thought you were gonna say something else before I got LeSean on.
I was. What I was going. Truman Show. Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay,
Truman
guys.
Show.
So a lot of you guys said you haven't saw it, or a lot of you said you have. If you have not saw the Truman Show, please check it out. It's starring Jim Carrey. Basically, he was adopted as a child. His mother and father, well, he's an orphan, so I don't remember what happened to him. I think they died in a car accident or something like that. But there was nobody to take care of him, and this rich producer adopts him and then buys a whole island, places Truman on this island, and makes him the center of a production network show. Okay, where everyone except for Truman is aware that they're being recorded and that this is a TV show, but Truman has no clue. So his life is fake, and he doesn't know it. Okay. This movie has a lot in common with religion, but what I want to talk about with the Truman Show is just simply awareness. I was talking about how when you subscribe to a religion, or when you don't know the concept of being aware, it is not being free from the world's constructs, right? When the more aware you become, the more less ignorant you become. When you ignore things, it doesn't speak to you as a bad individual. It just means your mind is not within the know. When you're not aware of something, you look over it. That's the tendency and the nature of human beings. We only notice what we are aware of, what we know about. So I'm saying that to say this. The Truman Show, it starts off with a satellite falling from the sky. Now, as a child, of course, or as a younger individual, younger adult watching the Truman Show, I noticed that it fell, but I didn't notice what exactly was written on the satellite until I started studying ancient thought, Egyptian thought, by way of like Anubis and understanding Sirius B and the thought associated with it. And that's when I saw the Truman Show again, and I noticed something on there that I never noticed the first time. And so that's what I'm talking about. The brilliance of becoming aware is that you see things that you otherwise would not have saw. So we can be watching the same show, and I can see something totally different than you, only because I am less ignorant than you. I have paid attention to more of my surroundings than you, and thus I can actually understand more, right? So without further ado, let's show that clip, Josh.
The Truman Show?
Yes.
Okay. I would have loaded up. I didn't know we were going to play the clip.
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to show it.
Okay, it's here.
All right, cool.
I gotta get 1 million of your notifications out the way if I can. Oh my god.
Do you remember my video call?
Alright. After this, we'll have Shondell.
Yeah, no, we wrap it up
not
after that.
Shondell, LeSean.
Yeah,
Unless Shondell wants to call, because he loves Shondell.
absolutely, sure.
I'll let you read the comments. It might take like a minute or two.
Okay, no problem at all.
Oops.
Let's see. All right, cool.
I think somebody asked why don't we have theists on. It's like, again, it's funny, we presented this challenge so we could have people on. The person that video we reviewed today, the one that's kind of babbled basically, I invited him on and I get a response from him. I guess I was earlier today, so I guess maybe that's too short notice, but it was in the AM.
I was actually interested in having an open dialogue with him. I actually think that we share a lot of views. It would have been nice to actually have a conversation with him, you know. Because people like to see my videos and just assume the type of person that I am and assume my intent. I tell you, that really grinds my gears. Peter Griffin's voice.
What did they say? Something chaps? Like I forget something.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely do say
Forgot that one.
that. It's pretty cool. One, tell I said thank you. You're right. It is a shell shocking moment. Palm Tree says it's a shell shocking moment when in life you wake up and you realize that the God of the Bible and everything is fake. It is shell shocking. It's very very traumatizing to know that you've been wasting your time, and that's the part that bothers you. And then you think about your whole life, how you've been subscribed to these scriptures, and it's not so much as just losing the idea of your Jesus. You start thinking about all the things you used to be excited about in the Bible that you think happened. David and Goliath, these type of stories that you used to draw inspiration from. I may not be big enough to do it, but because David beat Goliath, maybe I can. And people don't understand, you can still draw inspiration from these stories. You don't have to believe they're literal, but I think it makes people feel more connected to it because they think it really happened. And to hear it didn't, it does traumatize a lot of people. You know, if you guys can understand how powerful the mind is, think about this, guys. If you tell a person that an individual that they love is dead, they get lost at sea, whatever, we haven't found them for 2 or 3 years, they accept the person's dead, boom, boom, boom. And then years and years later, you see that person that you thought was dead. If you see that individual and you've thought they were dead for many years and you have already accepted this, when you see them, you're not going to be able to, oh crap, I thought you was dead. What's up? You're going to be in utter shock. You know what that feeling is? That is called cognitive dissonance. It's when your brain is trying its best to wrap its mind around reality when you have been convinced of something that wasn't necessarily reality. And that uncomfortable feeling kicks in. That is called cognitive dissonance. If you see somebody that you thought was dead and all of a sudden you're seeing them now again, you're going to feel a state of shock and be out of control. Honestly, you're going to be probably stuttering and everything. That is cognitive dissonance, and that's what Christians deal with, actually in a literal perspective, whenever they lose their belief in God, or actually see the reality that there is highly likely a chance this biblical God does not exist. They feel this feeling. This is why they get mad, why they threaten to kill you, they threaten to harm you. And again, I'm not generalizing. I'm speaking from experience. I have gotten Christians who threaten my life, threaten to kill me. Like I don't have children that love me to death. You see, heartless type stuff. I will kill you. You better hope I don't ever see you in person. I'm gonna blow your brains out. These are the type of things that people will say because you challenge their thought, their belief construct. Absolutely, it causes turmoil in people, man. Unreal. People lay in their bed and toss and turn all night over a fear of a place that they've never actually witnessed, and they don't want to lose that. It's crazy. But my bad. Let's get to it, Josh. If it's ready.
Yes. It shouldn't flag this because we did editing, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Where did the name God come from? If you don't, please check it out. In this video, I talk about how Sirius, the dog star, sits in the constellation of Canis Major, and how today we still refer to our dogs as Canis. So the video is showing you the parallels in between dog and Canis and God and Canis Major. We know that movies have subliminal meanings, but what if someone's trying to tell us something? Okay, it's funny, but check this out. This movie, Harry Truman, he plays a baby who was adopted by this rich man. His mother and father didn't want him. This rich man adopts him and buys an island, builds a dome over it, and has Truman living his whole life inside this dome, thinking his life is real while millions of people are watching it. Okay? Me and my homeboy Daylight, if you don't know Daylight, he's a really great artist. He's a rapper, battle rapper. Dude is a phenomenal lyricist. But anyway, he and I were talking on the phone, and he told me about this line: let a true man show you the world ain't real. If you guys ever saw that movie, you know that line is fire. But I told him I'm taking it as the title for this movie. But anyway, check this out. This is the opening scene now. I want you to just watch this. Please try to explain to me why this happened.
You saw it, right? This is just a clip, a snippet of what I'm going to do. We're going to talk about this whole movie. But I want you to watch the rest of this scene and watch how they try to clean it up and pull him back in. Make him fall back into that sunken place again. Just check this out.
Here's a news flash just in. An aircraft in trouble began shedding parts as it flew over Sea Haven just a few moments ago. Oh, wow. Luckily no one was hurt. But hey, how do you feel today? That's good. You think it'll fly this morning? Nope. Oh, good. Business class will fly with classical drive, so why don't you forget about the perils of flying? Settle back and let this music.
All right, cool.
Do you remember my video called
Cool. All right. Daylight said, let a true man show you the world ain't real. That's bars. I'm sorry. But you guys see this, right? How it shows you Sirius 9, Canis Major. Why would it show that? And again, guys, whenever I was younger, of course, I had no clue about this stuff. But because I had already taken an interest in studying, ancient thought and things like that, when I saw this on that movie, it really blew my mind that some director, some person who had something to do with the stage props or whatever, literally wrote this in pen on this. Why did they write that? Sirius 9, Canis Major. Why would they write that? It's crazy to me. Again, if you guys are unfamiliar with what that means, is the Sirius star is located in the constellation of what they call Canis Major. If you heard of the star called Sirius, that star is nicknamed the Dog Star, okay? And it's located in the constellation of Canis Major. We have animals that we call dog, and their actual name is called Canis lupus. Is the actual name of what you would call a canine. Canis lupus. Canis Major, dog star. Canis lupus, dog. God is dog backwards, and when you describe the belief associated with religion, it is called dogma. Jesus was hung on a dogwood tree. Please tell me how crazy that is. Why was Jesus hung supposedly on a dogwood tree? Religion is called dogma. God backwards is dog. Sirius 9, Canis Major. And when I say this stuff, people say, Kevin, you're crazy and you're reaching. I could be a freaking Tyrannosaurus Rex and grab hold of that. You don't have to reach. You don't have to reach.
I mean, there are some correlations. There's some correlations.
There's a few correlations. Come on, man.
Couple 9, 10, 11, 12 correlations. Big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do a clip. Why do I keep forgetting to clip that? I'm gonna clip that for y'all, man.
Sharon said, hey, we gotta clip that, bro. Sharon said the Truman Show was on Netflix. I didn't know that. Please, if you haven't saw it, look at it. It's a very good movie. Very, very good movie.
We supposed to be boycotting Netflix. Sorry, never mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, right? Don't watch it on Netflix. No, don't let Monique know. Okay. And so, guys, like trucking with what D. Avery says, Kevin, they are trying to tell you something. You are on the right track. Sometimes I wonder, man, is there someone who of course, doesn't have the freedom to discuss some of these things that is behind the scenes, trying to give you information that you otherwise wouldn't know. But again, to the ignorant, the mind that ignores things, they won't see that because they would ignore that writing, because that writing wouldn't be important, because when the brain doesn't understand it, it's not important, you see. And that's what you have to understand. You don't see it, you don't understand it, so therefore you're going to look right over it, Trucking with the ever said, no, you're not reaching. I promise I'm not. I'm obviously not making this stuff up, But again, when I made that video called "Where Did the Name God Come From?" Many people were just like, Kevin, come on, man, you reach it. He said, Kevin, little arms. I'm telling you, man. Was LaShawn gonna call?
Yeah, I was gonna put the link out. Just wanted to let you finish speaking.
Right. No problem at all. No problem at all. Jonathan,
right, guys,
Jonathan, what'd you think of that? Just to give you some time to speak on that. What'd you say, Josh?
Wait, this link is just for right now, Jonathan, Terry, and LaShawn currently. That's because we want to keep it like 15 minutes, if possible.
Mm-hmm. Actually,
Let's
too,
go.
let's add Eden to that wrap up if she decides to come
Eden
on.
ain't
I've
got
been needing to
breath.
have Eden on the show.
She's not. No, she's not going to do it, man. She's a tease. Again, if it's not Jonathan Terry or Deshaun, I'm gonna have to get you up out of here because we got 15 minutes. I say that with love.
See,
See, when you say something negative and it's like a consequence to you, I love you, but if you don't do what I said, there's gonna be punishment.
there you go, Josh. We were just talking about that, bro. Josh and I said that, you know, parents who punish their children by inflicting pain on them cause more pain to their child than literally anybody else will in life, physically and or mentally, for that matter. And they do it because they love them. In their belief, in their mind, they're doing this because they love them. I have no person in my entire life has physically hurt me more than my grandmother. And that joker said she loved me. Thank you, Tracy, very much. Remember Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz? Thought the wizard was going to give them things they already had? Absolutely. Here's another funny thing about the Wizard of Oz. Gosh, dude. Toto, the dog on the Wizard of Oz. Think about this, guys. The Wizard of Oz, they're on the way to see the wizard or the person to grant their dreams. They're walking on streets of gold, right? They're walking on a yellow brick road. What is yellow bricks? Gold, right? I want you to see how they do this stuff. And when they get all the way to this wizard, they find out he's not God. Guess how they find out? Or they find out that he's not a real wizard. A freaking dog. Toto goes and guess what? Removes the curtain. Moves the curtain off the wizard. Think about it, guys. Removes the veil off the wizard. Only for them to see that this joker was fake the whole time. The dog does it. Now, come on, man. Come on, think about this. You telling me this is an accident? It was accidentally written that way, that the dog would go remove the curtain and expose the guy for being fake and not really being who he wants to. A guy who promises gifts that you already have. Think about this. Why is it a dog that exposed him? Go back and watch Wizard of Oz, and you will see exactly what I mean. Think about it. Walking on yellow bricks, man.
There are some correlations with. There's a few correlations there.
For real, for real.
I told you, he hit me up the other day. He sent like something to like you. It was like an old video of like 2 hours long of you getting exposed, but not. The title did that, but not.
I done got exposed a million times.
I know, but not. That's the thing. You're supposed to be getting exposed. Oh. What's my thing? Expose Bart Ehrman. Expose the scholars y'all say y'all want that we've shown.
I got you trucking with Avery. You said what, man?
I want them to expose the scholars that they said that they adore.
Absolutely.
Look at that. What books have you read, Kevin? What books did you get this from? Like, oh, you did Google? I mean, we read the Bible. Apply common sense and logic to it.
Absolutely. And if you go back and look at it, man, people still talking about the yellow brick road. Think about this. 100% of the people on this mission did not know who they were. This was the only reason they were on this mission. The lion found out that he was never a coward. Had he known who he was, he would have never went on that trip. Okay? And so forth and so on, they find out that they never needed to be on this road. When you find out that this person that you praying to, that you on a mission to find, doesn't exist, you're going to find out that everything you was asking that thing for, or that belief for, you already had. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. The only reason you on that road to find the wizard is because you lost. You don't know who you are. You've never taken an introspection at yourself. See, you are what you look like. That's your best description. If I was to say, who are you? You're going to give me your name, your gender, your skin color. The best description of you is with clear exterior examples. That's your best explanation. When you hear somebody explain themselves, honestly, they should start off with internal. how they are emotionally, how they feel, not necessarily what they look like. Because this is, if you're not careful, you will think that that's who you are. This is an organ. This is an organ. If I held up my heart, I wouldn't say this is who I am. I would say this is my heart. This is my heart. This is not me. So why is this me? Why is this skin me? Right? There's so much more to you than what you think about. If you don't really think about it, you have a whole world inside of your mind, a whole world, and we don't choose to examine that. We rather just look on the outside of us, the surface, and be very shallow. And because you do that, you're susceptible to being manipulated, because you do not take an introspection look at yourself. We really should. We really, really should. We've been taught to believe in stuff, and then we don't challenge these ideas, and we simply just go through life being carried by words, another person's guide, if you will, never taking a look on the inside of yourself. True awareness is understanding that a wave is the ocean. A wave is the ocean. A wave is the ocean, if you're aware. If you're unaware, a wave is a wave, and it's separate from the ocean. But how silly is that? Right?
Messing up. I think, well, at least it says he tried to call.
Dang.
But it's going to like a different session. Like when we were with Jamar and all these people.
That's crazy.
That was a long time ago. What I'm gonna start doing, I'm gonna start using Skype. I'm gonna use something different. Or maybe Discord. I'm gonna start using something different for these. Hang on a second. Why? Leave you from that. Hold on, LaShawn, if you're still listening.
But honestly, guys, that's why we walk around so unaware of ourselves, and we always being challenged. Somebody asked me the other day, like, how do you avoid anger? How do you avoid anger? Avoid anger. And that question right there alone, how do you avoid anger? When you really think about it, anger cannot be avoided. Anger is something that consumes you. Anger is something that you become, not something that you can avoid. You see, if you think about this right here, okay, if you're driving on the road, right, you have a few things that you might have to worry about, right? Drivers that's not paying attention to the road, right? Things that may have fallen off the backs of trucks, things that can be in the way, pedestrians, right? You have a lot of things that can be in the road. Animals can cross the road, right? You have a lot of things that you have to worry about. But anybody ever drove down the road and worried about what if you hit the moon? Anybody ever thought of that? Anybody ever drove down the road and worried about what if you run into the sun or Jupiter, right? None of you have ever thought about that, because Jupiter ain't on the road. So neither is anger on the road that you call life. You are consumed by anger. That is an emotion. You can't avoid it. You are human. People ask questions that frankly they won't be able to escape. You're going to feel emotions if you're in this reality. How do you deal with anger should be the question, not how do you avoid it. We're trying to avoid emotions when we because we don't focus on self. The question to how to deal with it is never asked. It's just simply asked how to avoid it. Not how I take responsibility and learn how to deal with it. How do I avoid it? Because me learning how to deal with it will require some introspection. And we ain't got time for that. This is why I say we got to grow and evolve. Evolving means to challenge yourself.
Zoom, I'm not too familiar with. It might be something I'll look into. She said, I need to call. We'll get deep quick. Y'all funny, man. Actually, just for right now, just to get it going, let me see if I can get you a Facebook conversation with LaShawn.
Okay.
Because I know he's on the friends list. I know he has like 2 profiles though. I think he uses this one. Seriously?
Plot Palm Tree said, we don't need a book to connect with unconditional consciousness. You're absolutely right. You need to unlearn. You know, the more you learn, the more separated you become. Because when you really think about it, what separates you from other people is simply your perspective. And the things that you were taught in life is what shapes your perspective. You know, you ever notice that you tend to get along with people who see things the same as you? As for some reason, human beings, we don't really deal well with people who don't see the world the same as us. But true awareness means that you don't have to. It means you completely understand that you don't know anything. You don't know anything. So why even argue with someone? What I do is I try to show people that this stuff is not factual. You see what I'm saying? But if your belief and you want to subscribe to a belief that, you know, there is something greater out there or whatever, that's not my problem. Honestly, I wouldn't care either way. This is where you are in your evolution. The brain grows, it develops, and it changes. Things that you believed in a long time ago, you don't believe in now. It'd be the equivalent to me judging my son for believing in the tooth fairy because he stayed the night at his aunt's house. You see, I don't really have to worry. I know that as my son is the intellectual, he will eventually challenge that thought and grow out of that. You know, I don't expect him to have that thought when he's a grown man. You know. Evolution takes time. You know, people not just going to walk away from religion totally, you know, all. And here's another thing I noticed, that people take pride in saying they believe in God. They say it with pride. I believe in God. Why are you so prideful when you say it? Why is it something that you got to like voice? Nobody will tell me I don't believe in God. I believe. Why is it so necessary for you to be so passionate about the fact that you subscribe to an idea that a God in the sky exists? It shouldn't be that passionate, but people are. They want you to know they do believe, because that's the social construct. If you don't believe, it's something wrong with you. But that's why they say, ain't nobody gonna tell me, you know.
It's seen as virtuous to have childlike faith, as they say.
Absolutely.
As an adult, they pride themselves on childlike faith,
right.
Which is really scary, which is really sad. But hey,
what I don't understand, Josh, is when you say you don't support the belief in a God, people who are supposedly conscious get upset with you, as if you're still supposed to believe in God as a character. My thing is, when you find out the Bible is not true, or any religious book for that matter is not true, how do you keep the belief in the character God? If the only reason you know about him is through literature. You see what I'm saying? So when you say you don't support subscribe to the idea of God, they actually get upset with you. Well, then okay, if you want me to believe in God, then what God are we talking about? And then they can't tell you, of course. They want to be aware, but they don't want to be completely free from the idea or concept that a person exists outside of them, controlling everything. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I choose to believe that if you want to say God is a God, or God exists in each individual person. You are the expression of your God. Every person is the expression of God in their own way. But in terms of believing that God is in heaven controlling some stuff, and you know, has a plan for you personally and me personally, and if we don't live up to it, somehow we'll be punished in some way, shape, or form. That's just not the case. It's not the case at all. Reality doesn't even show that.
Pantheism? Is that what that's called?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is God, or everything isn't part of God, like everything is all encompassing.
Absolutely.
I think that's what it is. Deshaun, I don't think, like I said, it won't work as we stream for some reason. It won't allow us to use like the camera and like the microphone as another program uses it. So it won't let us. Did you try the link again? I tried removing him from the conversation and like re-adding.
Got you.
Usually it doesn't like give too much of a problem.
If it don't work this time, LeSean, you know I have you on next time, brother. But yeah, you're right. You're
Yes.
right though, Josh. Just so the people listening can understand, pantheism, a doctrine that identifies God with the universe, okay, or regards the universe as a manifestation of God. Okay, so that's pantheism, guys. And many of us
Mm-hmm.
believe that we are connected to the universe, that we all are connected to the universe. So I don't think many of us are far from that thought. Even if you believe in a God, you think you was connected to the universe, right? You think you was made from dirt, breathe air, right? And all this type of stuff. So you all connected to the universe. I told people the other day that half of your breathing apparatus is outside of you. We totally rely on our lungs to give us breath, but in all actuality, you rely on the plants to give you oxygen from the carbon dioxide that they breathe in, right, or that they take in. They give you back in return oxygen for your carbon dioxide. So we're taught, right? So half of your breathing apparatus is actually in plants. It's not in you. But you walk around fully confident and just hoping that your lungs get you through the day when you're not realizing that if the universe stopped doing what it's doing, you don't exist anyway. So obviously, your food is shared with the universe. You don't eat unless you eat something from outside of you that doesn't grow on you. You have no other way to get it other than you eat something from this earth. You drink from this earth in order to survive. You breathe air from this earth in order to survive. Naturally, you are in part with the universe, and honestly, you don't even think about it. Anybody here had to think about making their thyroid work? Anybody ever had to just think about that? Anybody had to think about digesting your food? Anybody had to actually think about it for it to be possible? These things happen in you, and you don't control it. Your body does these things. You're not in control of these things. You're just your brain or your spirit, whatever you want to call it, inhabits a vessel that you literally have no control over from the inside out. If you really think about it. When you get cut, you don't have to think about your skin healing or scabbing over. You don't have to think about these things. You don't have to tell your body to produce white or red blood cells. You don't have to tell your body to fight off diseases. You're not in control. You have actual less control than what you're aware of. You see? So this is why I say we don't know anything. If you were to look at your body on a molecular level, you are billions of organisms. If you really look at it, if you look in the mirror and you think you're one person until you look on your face and see millions of bacteria sitting on your face. You see what I'm saying? Millions of cells moving about in your body without you telling them to. If you could see yourself truly for who you are, you wouldn't be saying, this is me. You consist of billions of other organisms, which is crazy when you really think about it. But none of us really want to, I guess, look at it like that.
Somebody asked, what did you think of deism? Like God just doesn't, I guess, mess with the world, and like there's no religion. I guess no correct religion, but God exists, and then he's just not doing anything.
Well,
Which is
again,
kind of
that would be I mean, if you want to, it depends, because who is God then? Is God an active person that is just not active, or is God the universe? And if what we're calling God is the universe, and you're saying that it doesn't intervene, then it does. The universe most certainly does. It rains whenever it needs to. It does everything it's supposed to do. Grass grows for you to be able to give you oxygen. Food grows for you to be able to give you food. So you are being taken. You don't put the sun up there. Like this is the thought of human beings, Josh. Human beings are intelligent, right? We're intelligent, but animals. No, I'm saying this is the thought of human. No, I'm saying this is the thought of human beings. We are the creatures that are superior in intellect, right? So here we are. We are these intellectual beings. But what are animals? Animals are just animated. They're dumb. Even though some of them can change their own skin, right? Some of them can create sounds and communicate with each other in ways you couldn't. Some of them can do amazing things, but they're just animated. They don't really have souls. They're dumb, stupid. The sun, the moon, the universe is a system. It's not alive, but it's a mechanism. So we're the only thing that's intelligent, but everything else is just built around us. But it's built for us. This is human thought. You see what I'm saying? And it's honestly, it's childish. Someone took the time to reinforce your ego during your ego state. 3, 4, 5 years old, you're looking for reasons to matter. You're looking for your individualism, and someone tells you that the whole world was created for you. You see, and that reinforces the fact that the world is here for you. You see, and you don't understand you're a part of something that's so great and vast, you'd rather choose to believe that you are an individual experiencing reality, not actual part consisting and actually contributing to what we know as reality. You see what I'm saying? And it's like you actually are removing yourself to exist when you don't have to. It's inclusion, not separation. If you think you're you and I'm separate from you, Josh, and I'm separate from the people listening, then that's a very selfish attitude. What we need to understand is that if everything works in unison, the world is working correctly. The people who believe in the Bible, they believe in the words that said, "Divided you fall," right? We talked about a small country in England. I don't know if you guys ever heard the story about the smallest country in England developing a strategy to divide and conquer. And when they did this, they took over the world. They ruled the world. Has anybody ever heard about the smallest city in England who devised a plan to divide and conquer and ended up ruling the world? Has anybody ever heard about that myth? Myth. Ain't that funny? If you can divide, you can conquer. If you can force everybody into believing that they are different, if you create race, then you separate people by race. You create the idea of gender. You make male against female. You got women fighting for rights, which is stupid. They're human. You shouldn't be fighting for female rights. You shouldn't even have to. A world that you should even have to shows you that it's messed up. You see, because we don't understand that we're all one. Every person who wishes that women would stay in their lane and step back, you wishing that on your mama, your sister, your daughter. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't think anybody would want that for their wife, their mother, or their child. But they go out and contribute to it, sure.
Trismati, I don't know how you say your name. Universe is not alive. LMAO. Wow. If the universe is dead, we're dead. The sun. Okay.
Yeah, why do you not believe? Do you know the sun generates energy that you receive, plants receive, animals receive in order to do what they do? And if the sun did not do that, it would not have energy, bro. Like, okay, I'm not even gonna do this because
you're dumb. This is coming from Josh. The views of Josh is expressed by Josh. It does not reflect on Kevin Wesley. You're dumb. Anyways. Jonathan Terry said, and I think this is something I do want to, I guess, kind of give a dignified response to. The Bible said that you would be mocked for your faith. Not saying you are personally are doing so, but the environment that this typo, it's okay, is creating is causing others to feel it to be necessary to call me. So Kevin nor I, whatever, don't feel confident, just mocking people just based on their faith. Again, Kevin was at that place. I have family members in that place. They do have some shortcomings when they research or they ignore research, and that's their choice. But people ask also, why don't we have more people on for these kind of honest conversations? That would be a part of why. So honestly, I have to try to figure out how I do find balance in it, because I have a zero tolerance for racism, for instance, in our group and in here. So I try to have a zero tolerance for that. People are hurt. I guess a lot of people are hurt when they leave out of religion, so they have to I guess be demeaning towards other people, and I don't agree with it. I try to find a balance, and maybe I don't see it I know I'm not going to see it as you probably do, but that's not our intentions to insult. Thanks. And if you do find it, or if you do, let me know their names. That's the best I can do. Just because I can mute them or I can remove them if they continue to do so. Because we do want to have the conversation. So,
yeah, we definitely don't. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
No, I was just saying thank you for pointing that out, because that is true, and I do see it. And it's sometimes it's goes too far, and I do try to either mute them or I do something. Not to completely ban them, because some of them are just speaking emotionally. So, and some people can't control themselves. But anyways, I sent LaShawn hold on, he said my receipts. Where's receipts? What are you talking about, receipts? What are you talking about? How do I send you receipts of what? You ain't purchasing nothing for me. What you talking about?
Queen Missouri, black people can't be racist. What we're talking about is just is insulting people and separating and causing
No, black people can't be racist. Like, okay, we can have that conversation the other day, but yes, you can be.
No, she's talking about racist in terms of being able to control someone. When they say that, they're saying they're not in a position of power.
Oh no, not on the same scale.
Implement a racist strategy.
Yeah, not on the same scale.
But we're talking about separatists and colorists and being prejudiced. This is what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yes.
And Josh is absolutely correct. We don't. Neither one of us get on here with the intentions of humiliating anyone. And we got a lot of people who say that your people, well, y'all always try to insult people. Man, listen at me. You don't see me insulting people. Like, this is my show, right? If I'm on here insulting people, then blame it on me. But how are you going to blame me because somebody on my feed insulted you? Stop it. Don't blame me for somebody else's actions. Come on, y'all. Y'all know better than that. I get that all the time. People be, I'm unfollowing you because someone insulted me. Please stop. I'm not insulting you. I cannot control the people. All I can do is block them.
That's different. Yeah.
Right. I'm not personally insulting you guys, so
they acknowledge that you weren't personally insulting.
Not everybody does, though. That's what I'm saying. I actually get personal messages of people,
Yes, and I have banned people. I have removed people.
Right. We prefer a place where we can have open dialogue, honestly, without ridicule. We understand that people believe in Jesus as being God and Yahweh and all this stuff. It's not funny. It's not a laughing matter to me because I know so many of my loved ones who still subscribe to this belief, and I understand it to not be true. And so it's actually a problem for me. It's not something I laugh about.
Deshaun, I can't send you receipts, bro. That's from YouTube automatically. I sent you an invite to the chat. I can't send you receipts, bro.
Right, Queen Missouri. He's describing prejudice, not racism. Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying we can obviously, a lot of us can be prejudiced. I'm saying there is racism too. I'm just stating facts. Okay. Not on the same scale. I'm not going to say it's the same scale or equivalent. But yes, we are capable of racism.
You don't have to be in a position of power to rule the world. You can simply be in a position to hire and not hire someone because of their skin color or hire someone because of their skin color. The definition applies. So yeah, you can be racist of any race. You can be racist against any race.
Some people even try to turn.
Though we know what you're saying.
It's funny. Some people I've seen this have even tried to turn our channel into oh, this ain't for white people. They don't say white people. They say crackers, but nah, this information ain't for y'all. Y'all supposed to believe in that. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Y'all sound stupid. How you gonna tell people what our channel is for when we're not telling people what? Get out of here. And they be like, I support you. You don't even donate. You don't even share our videos. What are you talking about? You're so all they do is try to hurt the channel. Y'all weird, but they think they helping. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm. Love Lynn. I'm gonna challenge you for a minute. Love Lynn said, "Don't be silly. If ghosts exist, then you do have a spirit." I want to show you how you're right, but I'm also going to try to stretch your perspective. If ghosts exist, then you have a spirit. Absolutely, in the term that ghost is understood, because ghost is understood as a used to be person, right? And what is a used to be person if you don't have a spirit, right? But what we're calling ghosts is what we think are used to be people. So what if you lived in a world where there were just people who lived in a different realm or were not as solid matter as you? That wouldn't necessarily make them a spirit or ghost. They can be something totally separate from you and just be in a different form, right? We just believe ghosts are us. So in the sense of believing that what we call ghosts is actually old humans or the leftover spirit or energy from humans, then in a sense you would be right. But if it's not humans, if these ghosts are some other entities for that matter, does not mean anything for us. It just depends on how you look at it. You're right, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying. Depends on how you look at it. We understand things from the concept of what we were taught. So if you see a spirit, if somebody walked out right now and saw what appeared to be a human being floating around in that room, the first thing you're going to say is it's a ghost or a dead human, right? That's what we're going to think. And that's just the concept that we were taught to see the world in. Someone said that orcas and elephants are two of the most intelligent animals on Earth. I was going to say that an elephant, I believe, has the brain capacity of 4 times the size of any brain close to it. Did you know an elephant can remember a water hole even if it hasn't visited a water hole for more than 20 years? Did you know that? Like, that's freaking amazing to me. A water hole. Even if the area around it has changed. Thank you, Greg Prince. Even if the area around it has changed, if the grasses grew up or grew down or whatever, an elephant can remember a water hole, even if it has not visited that water hole for up to 20 years. That's powerful to me. That's powerful, man. That's a memory right there. Sometimes I walk into a room and forgot why I went in there. Be looking around like, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna try this again later.
I was gonna say, to that point, you were talking about like why would God care about like gold and like pearls, and you like ants don't even like ants aren't thinking about this. Like ants would just walk over that to get to food.
Absolutely.
Like, all they care about is survival. Like, oh, I'm about to be blinged out today. Like when I go back there, they're gonna be like, oh snap, where you get that from? I ain't telling nobody where I got this from. Nah, hey, where the food, where the water. They don't care nothing about all that fancy stuff we care about, diamonds and pearls and all that. Nah.
The fact is, why are you even excited about gold being in heaven? What can you do with it in a spirit body? Gold is expensive and it's valuable on earth from your paradigm and your perspective. Why would a spirit value gold? Why would a spirit value gold? Think about it. What you gonna do with it? Y'all up there blinged out? You're gonna be trading gold as money? What's the reason that you would value having gold, and why would God offer you that if it knows when you get to heaven you won't even need to buy nothing anyway? So why would gold be valuable in a place where nothing would ever need to be purchased? Why would anything be valuable in a place where nothing would need to be purchased? Think about that. Think about it.
It's too logical. I don't like it. I like it.
It's just crazy. Your spirit can't do nothing with gold. Like, come on now. Come on, y'all. And the simple fact is this, man. You can hear now because you have physical ears that carry vibration of sound to your brain and break it down. You can see now because you have eyes that can receive what you see and project it to your brain and explain it to you. If your physical body is dead, how are you going to see golden streets without eyes? How are you going to hear the voice of God without your ears? How do you even know you would even experience the world the same? Think about this.
Big facts. That's what our video's for. Where is the exposed video for this? We offered money. We offered you the platform. I don't understand. And like, again, not to be, not to put too much on it, but I thought of this. This ain't even Kevin, and Kevin knows way more than me about the Bible. Like, y'all lost a nerd who don't even read the Bible. I don't even read the Bible like that. Y'all lost to me. Oh, that's too funny. All that scholarship, all those books you bought, all those hours spent, you lost to somebody with logic. Oh man.
Matter of fact, let me say this: what Josh said the other day. Then we're done, guys. We're done. But this is good enough to close on. And we're gonna make a video that speaks directly to this. Christians do not think that they're a blood cult. They do not understand that they are a blood cult. Okay. Josh said this right here, and I said, "Dang, this is dope." Josh said, "You're not a blood cult, but you drink blood as a ritual, and you wear torture symbols around your neck." Just think about that. That's crazy right there. You're not a blood cult, but you drink blood as a ritual, as a remembrance to your God, and eat flesh as a ritual in remembrance to your God, and wear the very symbol that your God was said to be tortured on. And you don't think you are a torture cult or a blood cult. You believe that the blood of your God is what saves you. You believe you're covered in his blood, yet you're not a blood cult.
That's the good stuff. They'd be like, that's the good stuff. I'm covered. And they be even, I even see Facebook
I'm covered
pages.
In his blood.
They say this Facebook page is covered in the blood. Oh my God, what is wrong with you? Ain't no blood on your Facebook.
If it had not been for the blood, that's what they say. The blood. And like Josh said, you wear torture symbols, or you wear the symbol around your neck that was used to torture the God you say you love. You drink blood and eat bread as his flesh, symbolic for his flesh, and you say you're not a blood cult. You know how crazy that sounds. How are you not a blood cult? Your whole religion is built off the belief that someone shed his blood for your sins.
And they love it. They love he did that.
And before he shed his blood for your sins, animals shed their blood for your sins. And you don't think you're a blood cult.
Gotta kill this goat.
Someone said, is it possible for a perfect creator? If the creator is evil, Rufus, see, our idea of perfect is without flaw, you see. But if I devise a plan to rob a bank and it goes through perfectly, it was a perfect plan, even if it wasn't a moral plan. The idea that we have about this biblical God is that he's all loving, but he drowned the world. This God is all loving, but would punish everyone to death because one person ate some fruit. You see, or two people ate some fruit, so now everybody has to die. He cannot be perfect and be all good and then get to do evil stuff and still be perfect and all good. Nobody can do that with those rules. You know, there was this guy, what's his name? Anybody ever play Zelda? You ever play Zelda, John?
A little bit.
Link?
A little bit.
You remember the last character's name?
No.
Starts
no.
with a Z or something like that. But if anybody remembers that name, type it in for me, guys. But the last villain, or the main villain, antagonist on Zelda, Link. Link is the character that's supposed to fight this evil villain. But there's rules to this evil villain, and I want to show y'all kind of what I mean here. Let me just Google the name of it, just so I can bring some context to it, so you can look it up here. Let's see here. Evil villain on Zelda.
I'm Ganondorf because I played
Ganondorf,
Smash.
that's his name. Ganondorf. Okay, so we know that Ganondorf has a special way you have to beat him. Once Ganondorf achieves his transformation level, you need the silver sword or silver arrows to beat Ganondorf, right? Otherwise, he cannot be beat or defeated. This is the rules of Zelda, okay? Now, that's the rules of Zelda. Now, I'm going to show you something. When you take this Ganondorf character and you put him up against someone like One Punch Man, the person who can punch anybody and knock them out, a person who was created as a parody. One Punch Man is created as a parody just to make fun of anime or superhero type genre, right? But this guy is so strong, he can literally punch one person. Give you one punch and destroy you. Now, if you were to ask the question, who can win a fight between Ganondorf and One Punch Man, you'd say One Punch Man, but not according to the rules of Zelda. According to the rules of Zelda, you need the silver sword, A, or B, silver arrows. And if Saitama or One Punch Man does not have these items, he cannot defeat him, even if he weighs stronger, because you're going by his rules. Now, the rules of the Bible says God is perfect, yet he can do evil stuff, but be evil, but not be evil. You see what I'm saying? He can do evil stuff, but still be counted as all good. He can change his mind and still count as not change. So according to the Bible, God gets to still be perfect and still be a person who doesn't change his mind, even though he does. But according to the rules of reality where we live, this is not a possibility. You cannot do one thing and say you never did it. You can't change your mind and say, I don't change my mind. That's not in the realm we live in. But in the Bible, God can do that.
That realm is called reality, folks. We
Absolutely.
live in the real world. Again,
Absolutely.
Zelda is fictional. The Bible is fictional.
Mm-hmm.
We like, well, they put a real place in Zelda. Okay, Zelda is fictional.
Absolutely.
But Zelda says some real stuff on that one quest when you get the cherries off the tree.
Absolutely.
Zelda is still fictional.
Zelda got a stamina bar too. He actually get tired like real people.
I know. Right. Now you can cook. He be making roasted apples.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some great recipes in Zelda. Zelda is fictional.
Rufus said, "Is the creator of our universe immoral?" Again, this is according to our understanding of moral. These can't be answered. These cannot be answered. You cannot describe morality for another person. So I can't say you're immoral because you think a different way than I think. You see what I'm saying? So, but if you're gonna go according to what we look at, if we look at murder as evil, okay. Would you kill a man? No, that would be your answer. Well, most people's answer. Would you kill a person? No. But absolutely, if I have to, if you have to, but if someone hurt someone you love, Josh, rape your daughter, your mother, somebody like that, would you kill them?
That's deep. I don't know. It depends.
Well, again, the fact that you're unsure, and I prefer the honesty, like you're saying. I don't know. I don't want to say I wouldn't. That's fair to me because,
Yeah.
but here's the thing that you'd have to recognize is that doesn't put you in a position of technically having to murder them, and there is a possibility that you could commit murder if someone raped or hurt someone that dear to you, right?
Yeah.
So
if I was fortunate enough to catch them in the act, I would definitely do it because I would say I'm protecting them, and I could use that to protect myself later. But if it was like later, then I'd be like, then I'm weighing the option. But if I catch them on the spot, then I'm definitely killing them.
absolutely, and even if you kill them a year later, there are still some people who would argue that that is not immoral. You didn't just walk up and kill an innocent being. You killed a rapist, right? Who raped children. That's how we can justify anything how we want. But the literature says that God says don't kill. It didn't say don't kill unless someone rapes someone close to you or unless someone hurt. It just says don't kill. So if this is a rule, and then this God could in turn kill people, don't you think that would make your God immoral, right?
Millions,
right? Or even ask people who it told not to kill people to kill people. So tell me if your God is moral. Is your God is a person moral? If I say it is a sin to kill, but then tell people to kill people, is that immoral? It would have to be, right? If I said, Josh, it's a sin to steal, and then I make you steal something, or you're gonna be punished, right?
Right.
That's definitely even if it's a moral theft. If I tell Josh, if I'm God and I say don't steal, that's a sin, and then someone steals something of value from someone else, I tell Josh to steal it back and give it to that person, right? Stealing is stealing. It still doesn't make it right. You see what I'm saying? So a God who tells you don't do something shouldn't tell you to do it. Your God would understand that you would deal with PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. Okay, you would be traumatized from killing someone that you know and love, right? Or even a stranger. But your God would tell you to kill someone because they offended God, when God would have the power to kill someone. But God would have you kill someone. So that's what people have to think about. People say, what is sin? Well, what is sin? Sin isn't murder, rape, like you would actually think. Sin is disobeying God. So it was a sin when didn't impregnate Onan's wife. It was a sin for not to come inside of Onan's wife, his sister-in-law. It's a sin when Saul didn't kill all the animals. That was a sin to not kill all the animals. Do you not understand what I'm saying here? Is it immoral not to kill someone? No, but however, it can be a sin against God. So much so that he can strip your whole kingdom away from you, even though he promised you the kingdom, and then still not be considered as a mind changer.
One of the great things, I think, well, not one of the great things, one of the interesting things that we discussed, I guess, before you were in religion, then after, was the story of Abraham and Isaac. How you thought the story was beautiful while you were in religion, of basically Abraham about to kill his son on the mountain, but then at the last second he spared him.
Right, absolutely.
So, and people will say, like, I had a conversation, you heard it when I had a conversation with somebody who's like, that's a beautiful story. How is it beautiful dragging your son to a mountain and you're about to slit his throat open to please God? But then he's like, nah, I was just pranking you, bro. You don't have to kill your son. You can kill that animal that's just minding its own business over there.
Absolutely.
Like, that's beautiful. What are you like? If you think and again, morality is subjective. Do you think if you think that's love? I was going to have you kill your son. I asked you to do it, and it was like, wasn't it like days? It was supposed to be like days. So if the story was real, that's like days of it should be anxiety, probably depression, that God would inflict on somebody that's been loyal to him thus far, but he had to test them. God, and the omniscient being, had to test a human's heart.
Shouldn't have to test anybody. You made him. What you testing him for?
Right, well, you're testing your own creation that you have insight on, and you know the past, present, and future on. You're gonna test him. You're gonna put him through this to see what he does.
Well, clear thoughts, which I would be willing to do if you wanted to call it on a different day. But let's set up a live discussion. I will prove, as I've done twice before. Didn't even know you'd done it once. And thank you for informing me that you've done this twice, but that you were never a pastor, and you have no clue of what you teaching. So give you a live call, and you will prove I was never a minister or ordained, or that I have no clue what I'm teaching. And you have to understand now, I have over 100,000 followers just on my Facebook page. If I didn't know what I was saying, don't you think I would have been exposed by now?
No, he's like, I have exposed you. You just haven't felt it yet.
Exactly.
No, wait, no, this is good. I love when Kevin gets exposed. I mean, I really do. Clear thoughts. Send me a message on Facebook, bro. Josh Upshaw on Facebook. Send me a message, bro. We can get that. I'm gonna get it set up, and if you don't message me, I'm gonna expose you. you gonna have to message me. You about to get exposed because you talking that mess. So let's go ahead and we'll get it set up.
I would love to see how you prove I was never a pastor with a live conversation.
I know, like, what is there's a void of paperwork? What are you about to say? I have nothing. So nothing is.
I'm very interested in that. And again, you can already see the motive of the person, and it's already ahead. Your motive is to prove I wasn't a pastor. That's not something you can prove. That's not something that you can actually prove.
No.
Trust me, you can't. You can do all the research. All you're going to do is prove it. Trust me. Do all the research you want.
Let them.
No, of course. You know, but it's one of those things where, like, again, it's the wrong mentality. The information, you know, and if the information sets me straight, let the world gather that maybe I've never done research, or maybe I'm not who I say I am. I'm going to prove that you're not. You worship God, Jesus, right? I'm assuming if you can prove that Jesus exists, you wouldn't even have to speak to me, man.
He gonna be one of the Israelites. Now praise Yahshua.
And prove he exists. Yahoshua, prove he exists. Whatever interpretation that they gave you, prove he exists. Whichever one you choose to believe in, prove that person exists. It doesn't matter what his name is, you ain't gonna prove he exists.
Clear thoughts, Josh Upshaw on Facebook. Hit me up, bro. I will get you set up next week. Promise.
So the Bible has some,
or maybe
in
like
Egypt. I'm sorry, Josh, my bad.
No, you good. I'm just making sure I get this across. If you don't, I'm gonna make fun of you next week for not messaging me. So make sure you message me. I'm asking nicely.
And Josh is not a man that he should lie. Okay.
Absolutely not.
Liberian girl said the Bible had some settings in Egypt. Doesn't mean the Bible was true. Absolutely. In fact, Jesus was said to have lived in Egypt for years. So now what you have to think is if Egypt has Horus and the 3-day story all over the walls, and seemingly many of the biblical stories that we believe in today, or that we talk about today, or read about today, was on the walls of Egypt, and Jesus supposedly lived in Egypt, wouldn't you assume that if this person did exist, that they saw the walls of Egypt and would be inspired to go continue to tell those stories? Yes, you would. So even if Jesus literally existed, he could have very well been a person who just lied about what he saw all day growing up, or was convinced that he was Jesus, even though we know that there is no evidence of the person's actual existence. If he had existed, there's still a large reason to suspect that this person wasn't who he said he was, being that these stories that he told, or that are told about him, are synonymous with the stories that predate this person's existence by many years. Now, do you believe that your God said, okay, somebody is already practicing the belief or the tradition of celebrating something that supposedly was dormant for 3 days and rose again, whether it be the sun, a tree, or anything? So I'm going to copy that and have my son be dormant for 3 days, even though these men who existed millions or hundreds of thousands of years before this character of Jesus exists, I'm going to copy his lifestyle and create my own Bible and let it mimic Zoroastrianism, which predates the Bible by 4,000 years, I believe, and then Hinduism, which predates the Bible by 3,000 years, I believe. And they share similar stories and views. Why would a God copy stories? Just think about it, guys. An original God. Come on, y'all. It's a cookie cutter program. Every one of them believe in similar things, and they're copied from another one. It is not original at all. It's not original at all.
Okay,
You
so
can't prove I never studied this. You're ridiculous for
No.
even saying that, bro.
No,
I've clearly
no,
studied.
let them. No, this is good. This is good. This is you're giving away too much sauce. Save it. Okay, so I don't know. It's clear thoughts. I am still awaiting, but again, it's okay. You got a full week, bro. No rush. Josh Upshaw, Facebook, hit me up. We'll get it scheduled. I'll make sure. Anyways, I think that's it for today. We got 3 hours. I think it's good. Oh, I don't like it when it goes 3 hours, but it went 3 hours over just because we were trying to
Alex
get the
Lee,
Sean on.
donation is in the link. Sorry, Josh.
Yeah, the donations are in the description box, or you can do the super chat, but we're about to close it out. Annie, get to the point. You don't control anything ever on this channel. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it for today. Do we want to close anything? I guess the show, obviously.
Sure.
But-
Let's before we close, let's pull up the tour, please.
Tour, yes.
Someone asked earlier, Kevin, what are your tour dates? And I could very well be late. It was hours ago. That person could be doing something else right now in bed. But Irving, Texas, February 9th through the 10th. Houston, Texas, February 23rd through the 25th. Atlanta, Georgia, March 30th to 31st. Chicago, Illinois, April 28th. New York City, May the 26th through the 27th. All right. Guys, right now, Irving, Texas is available for purchase, but I'm going to make the other areas and tour dates available as well, so you guys can go ahead and get your tickets, okay? I encourage you guys, go ahead and get your Irving tickets, okay, while I still have some left. It's going to be good now. Make sure you go get your Irving tickets now for February the 9th and 10th.
All right, I think that's it. Trying to think, were we doing something else upcoming? Oh, if you guys know anybody who wants to expose Kevin, let them know the Heaven Challenge is still on the table. $100. Get your video featured. Get on the platform. Expose us, as Clear Thoughts may beat you to it next week.
Thank you very much, Rick LeVay. As a matter of fact, Josh, can we show
Yes.
him? Can we show him the video from me going to feed the homeless? Let me just show people a little bit about what the video was about, because I'm sure not many people saw it. Facebook, they kind of limit your reach when you're doing something that's absolutely positive. So, in case you guys didn't know, I talked about in the video, but a lot of people ask, what do they do when they walk away from religion? Because when they were in religion, they were giving money to the church and helping people, because they were in an atmosphere to where they could do that. And now they don't go to church anymore. And a lot of them ask me, what do you do? And I was just showing an example of what I do. So this is what I normally do, like on Sundays, guys, Sunday mornings. But I went Saturday because today is my son's birthday. Happy birthday, Israel, if you're watching, son, or whenever you watch. Happy birthday, son. Love you. But so I took them up here yesterday. So you're not going to see Israel in this particular video. He wanted to stay with his friend on the eve of his lap around the sun, right? Anniversary of lap around the sun. So, but this is Janae and Justice. But anyway, Josh, you go ahead and play on it. But this is what I do, guys.
Okay, I'm just trimming it up just because you get notifications that are annoying.
And to the person that had donated, said, Kevin, keep doing what you do. I just want to show you guys a little bit about what I do. I don't just sit on here and talk and tell people, about religion. I actually get out into the world and try my best to make a difference, the best that I can. So.
All right.
What's up, family? So check this out. This is me. This is my daughter Janae. This is my son Justice, and we are in Charlotte again to feed the homeless. Today, let me see if I can give you guys show you guys. You can't really tell now. We are actually in Charlotte, North Carolina, but right around the corner, it's just a lot going on. They have something up here in Charlotte. Everything's kind of blocked off, so we probably won't be able to find a whole lot of people who needs what we have. But we thought we'd show you guys how easy, how simple this can be. It doesn't require a whole lot. So we're gonna kind of show you what we brought. We're vegan, so we don't give away meat, as we know that meat is not really good for you, okay? So I'm gonna show you a little bit of what we bring here. Normally I bring a few of these right here, but we just give out fruit, chips, things like that. Listen, when you're doing it, you want to make sure you're not out here with hot food, because you can get in trouble for that. You got to make sure you have a kitchen, make sure it's sanitary. People are going to want to know what you put in it. You don't want anybody getting sick. So if you're going to get out here and make a start, a lot of you guys left the church and used to give, you know, money and stuff like that to the church every Sunday, and you're probably wondering what to do now. Well, this is what I do. It makes me feel good. It makes me happy to help other people. So I still continue to do the things that I love to do. I'm still helping the world as much as I can. So just to give you guys an example of what we do, whenever we can give out some more food, I'll try to get something on camera for you guys. Hopefully we can find some people. If not, we'll come back tomorrow morning. This is Saturday, so normally I'm out here Sunday mornings. So we'll come back Saturday and do it again. Sunday. Peace, guys.
All right, guys. So that was just an example of
Isaiah
of what
45
I do with my family.
says, I form the light,
So we can
and I create
see
dark.
here. Okay, cool.
Old video.
Yep. Check that out. It's a cool video. No, I'm kidding. But listen, guys.
It is.
Yeah, well, it is. I don't know why I said I was kidding. But guys, listen. That's something that me and my family do, so we can still be productive in the community. And believe me, guys, like the people in the community love to see me coming. I know a lot of them by name. They know me by name because I don't just go out there and hand them stuff. I want to know who they are and why they ended up in the situation and how to actually help them out. So I don't just give them fruit and potato chips, just so you guys understand. I give them information. I listen to them. I go get prescriptions filled for them if I can afford it. Okay? So I do so much to try to help people. And this is what I'm saying for a lot of you guys enjoy helping people as well. And if that's something that makes you happy, then you can still do that. Just be careful. Like I said, you don't want to take hot food in terms of like food that you prepared at home, because you would need a real kitchen for that. They want to make sure you're sanitary. And honestly, if you don't have a nonprofit, I wouldn't suggest you just go out and do it anyway, depending on what city you're in, because you will and can get arrested for helping people, believe it or not. They have found a way to make it a crime to help people. So you really have to be careful. Why did my bag look so simple? Again, I'm vegan, so when you see potato chips, it's just Lay's potato chips, because a lot of potato chips is going to have milk in it. Like Funyuns, even though it don't have cheese, it has milk. So I read everything before we eat it and give it away. But we give away fruit, vegetables, and potato chips and things of that nature. And it's not that, I'll put it like this, that suitcase, and the reason I put it in a suitcase because it has wheels, it's easier to roll down the road, because you don't really ever know where they're going to be, because the police don't let them be in bunches. They spread out, and they just try to get to somewhere where it's a few of them, so they don't get caught out there and sent somewhere, put in jail or something like that, or get made to leave or whatever. So you have to kind of walk the streets to find enough of people to give the stuff to. But that particular bag had about 15 lunches in it, and I didn't even spend $30 on that particular thing of food. And it had waters in it. I give them all water when I give them food and everything. About $30-something, and I would be able to feed 50, up to 15 or 20 people. And you see I put 3 pieces of fruit in each one. It was an apple, orange, and a banana. You can space it out even more than that. But believe me, man, in the mornings, getting out there and seeing them, they hungry, and you're giving them fruit and stuff that's going to give them energy to get throughout the potentially horrible day they're going to have. Believe me, they will remember you showing up and handing them fruit. I know you might think that they won't, but trust me, these people out here, they got it bad. So if you want to get out and help, it don't really take a whole lot, guys. And again, if you want to contribute to it, and again, you don't have the access to or the ability to get out there, you in fear that you may go to jail, send it to me. I'm a nonprofit. I will give you a receipt back so you can write it off on your taxes. But let's help each other do this. I've set myself up so I can be able to do this, guys. So if you want to help me do this more, and I would love to feed more people when I go. In fact, they're rooting for me so I can be able to feed more of them. So definitely, guys, please consider contributing to my nonprofit so we can so I can continue to do this with my family, and so you guys can be a part of it. I know you guys would love to see us feeding thousands of people, and you guys know that you were a part of it. So just keep us in mind. We're not just talking. We're not just trying to set people away from religion. We're trying to help people in their life, like literally people who are starving. So just keep that in mind, guys. But that's what I do for those of you who wonder, what can I do? When I was a Christian, I was a missionary and a traveling evangelist preacher who gave away food and clothes. That's what I didn't collect the tithe either. So, but that's what I did as a Christian. I was a traveling evangelist missionary. That's what I was. So why stop doing any of it? Why stop reaching people with words of correction to help them move further in life? And why stop feeding people who are less fortunate to feed themselves? So that's what I do. That's what makes me happy. So guys, just keep that in mind. Actions speak louder than words. Remember that. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Remember that, guys. If you want the world to be changed, you should be trying to change it yourself. Every one of you. You can't ask for the world to be changing. You're not doing your part to change it. You don't got to feed 1 million people. Just feed a few. We'll be fine. Again, thank you all for watching. Josh, do you have any final thoughts?
Not necessarily. I guess to piggyback off what you said, if everybody does their part, things will be, a lot better if people just do their part. So that's why I say if people want to support the show, people always say, "Yo, we love what you're doing. Keep up the great work." Blah blah blah. But they don't share. And I know some people can't. And again, sharing is free. People always say, "All you do is want money." Not true. If you want to support, we do want support from people because obviously the mission is something positive, and we also are helping free people out of religion. And we do understand not everybody can share things to their wall for professional reasons, or they're not at that point in their life yet. So if you cannot share, we offer the donation as a secondary way of helping support the show and also help feeding the homeless, as you just saw. So again, the words you say are great, but you saying you support us, but not. We like that you like the show. I guess I take the word support different than just saying I like the show, because that's if you like the show, cool. But if you say you support but you're not,
like, look up the word support before you say you support something.
It grinds my gears a little bit as a I guess a nerd. But anyways, it's all love.
When people say it, they mean I watch it. I tune into it. They don't actually understand what they're saying when they say I support. They mean I agree with what you're saying, but support is not something that just means agreement.
Right. It's a whole different word. This the word. Be careful with your words, guys. That's all. But anyways, I think that's it. 3 hours, 15 minutes. We haven't done one of these in a long time.
We have
probably not going to do one again for a long time. I want to be short. Right. Well, we do appreciate you guys. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Oh, and I might get exposed next week, so you definitely want to tune in.
I might get exposed every week. Just keep it. But I always look forward to that. Me getting exposed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right, we'll see you guys. Appreciate you. Peace.
Absolutely. Peace.